Did you really?
Yeah, I texted the seller like, I was looking at this space, like, I really want you to look at it, just looking, and I messed up. He's like, could you bring up the seller last? Yeah, you guys, can you have his number? I was like, yeah. So I immediately texted her and was like, hey, I hope you don't mind.
I usually will ask him just like, do you mind if I get so and so before I do it?
No, I always try to answer. That's why I was upset. I'm like, it was a situation. I told her, I said, I never just tell her, but it was a situation. But Tony's 52 to this. His number's on the website, so anyone's calling him.
Yeah, they can
It's
find
literally
it.
on there.
Well, Larry Munson has been with the Georgia Bulldogs. I hopped out.
Yeah.
His number was in the phone book, and I just called him one day to get him on Dewey Warren show. Hello. It was just like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Is he a big smoker? He just sound like
I think he just sounds. Well, I don't know. I also had him broadcasting the '63. Yeah, yeah.
why was he doing all that?
He used to be the voice of Vanderbilt before he went to Georgia.
Mike, you want to take a shot at what I'm already looking forward to in about 3 hours? What I look forward to every week. Yes, sir. Taco Bell. Cheese and grease to go. Yes, sir. And aspartame.
No. It's going to be hard. I'm telling you. It's going to be hard. Do your best.
Thank you. Now the Karns High School marching band under the direction of Jim Crawford will play our national anthem.
Gary, how you doing, Gary? Welcome into Karns High School. Alex Myers with you. To my left sits the legendary Mike Sheehan. Keith Hyatt's down below me. We welcome him into the stands tonight. And to my right, the voice of the Wildcats, David Clary, is back and with us. Let's go over the starting lineups before we get to Dave Clary, as they have the flyover from the Knox County Sheriffs. You might hear that above me. Oak Ridge starting on offense, left tackle Jared Bafford. He'll be number 77, and he's a sophomore. Left guard, sophomore, number 74, Elijah Young. Next up, it's the center, number 69, a junior, Malachi Bonner. At right guard, a senior, number 66, Kanan Hudson. And rounding up the five up front, Ethan Eubanks. He's a right tackle, whereas number 62, he's a junior. At the skill positions, quarterback number 1, making his third start of his career. Third start as a Wildcat, number 1, sophomore Blaine Stansberry. At tailback, it's Jarvis Dozier, the senior leader for this team. He dons number 22. At wideout, 4 of them Oak Ridge will trot out there. Brandon Hayward, number 13, a senior. Number 2, a sophomore Will Presley. Number 3, a senior Almani Rimbert. And out wide, number 7, a freshman Valen Henderson. Izzy Mitchell, Vashawn Niles, and Price Davis figure to see action as well for the Wildcats offensively. On the defensive starting lineup up front, the 3 big fellas with their hand in the dirt tonight. Defensive ends, Elijah Bradley. He's a senior. He wears number 51. And defensive end, T. Ray Threat, number 76. He's a junior. At nose guard, it's big Tim Walters. He'll wear number 60, and he's a sophomore. Outside linebacker, Vashawn Niles, another senior leader for this Wildcat team. He dons number 0. Inside linebackers, J.T. Gromley, number 36, a sophomore, and number 25, a senior, Bryce Dorsey. At the jag position, Price Davis back. He missed the first game, the bye week. He got healthy. He played last week. He will start tonight. Number 10, a senior. That's Price Davis at the jag position. At cornerback, you've got Valen Henderson, number 7, a freshman, starting 2 ways, and Brandon Hayward, another one. He's starting 2 ways as well. He's number 13 again. Brandon Hayward, a senior. At safeties, Izzy Mitchell, number 8, a senior, and number 27, a junior, Dallas Frent. Eli Pearson will handle the kicking and place kicking and punting duties. He's number 15, and he's a sophomore. Snapper will be T.J. Hibben. He got compliments. Number 56, the junior, as did the holder, number 11, sophomore Adam Washington from Coach on our Wednesday night show. Let's take a 2-minute break. When we come back, David Clary will bring us back as the Wildcats set from Karns.
Are you on the sound? It's no good.
Doing all the time. It will sound.
I was like, have I been calling him the wrong name all the time?
Yeah, he goes on 10.
Only one Sunday. Only one.
I thought it was 1.5.
Rounds down.
And hello again, everybody. David Clary along with Alex Myers, Casey Jackson. We've got Mike Sheehan up here, Mark and Shauna Hayes, Ben George, Lee Wexler along with Josh Frazier, Brian Bennett back in the studios of FM 92.7. It's time for Oak Ridge High School football. The Wildcats taking on the Karns Beavers. Alex, you ran through the starting lineups early on. The Wildcats, as you've been talking about the last 2 weeks, a very youthful team as you look down through there. I think there's six or seven guys that are underclassmen starting on the offensive side of the ball. This Karns team very similar. They graduated, obviously, one of the better running backs in the Knoxville area in many years. And Deshaun Bishop, this is a young Karns team, and they have struggled out of the gate.
Sean Bishop, I think 2 years ago, I think it was his junior year, David, at one point, very deep into the season, maybe with a week or two before the playoffs, he led not just the area, not just the state, the entire country in rushing yards from the tailback position. He's gone. And not only have they had the turnover as far as the actual players, as you mentioned, but David, Coach Rang brought up a good point on the Wednesday night show. Not only do they have a new coach this year, but unlike Coach Rang, who came in in, February, March, and has had a full offseason with his team, these guys were already on staff, but their head coach decided, I guess, to retire. I don't know exactly what the terminology they used was. But he left, I think, pretty much in the dead period, so June, July, somewhere around that point. So this team, not only, David, are they having to figure out sort of differences in personnel, but they're also having to figure out a different coaching staff and new guys stepping into new roles on the coaching staff as well.
And you know what's interesting? He is still teaching at Karns High School, and so he will, in fact, I think probably his plan is to come back at some point to be a coach. As the Karns Big Blue Band from Beaverland is playing across the field, as the Karns Beavers will come onto the field to our right. As you can see, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, we are broadcasting from the bleachers. We have sat in this spot probably the last 3 times we have been here. People here at Karns are very nice, very accommodating, obviously, but that press box is just not big enough for everything we like to do.
No, it's not, and like you said, I can't say enough how nice the people were. They were very accommodating. Actually, they had everything set up here and blocked off for us because there's not a lot of room in the stands. It's capacity crowd on the Wildcats end, but they had everything blocked off, and I think in a perfect world we'd be over there. We're a little bit higher up with the angle, but they're doing everything they can for us, and we certainly appreciate their hospitality anytime we come here.
Hey, if you know Kaysen, don't get on his case here. It's not his fault. With you, the camera angle, like Alex just said, is just not very high. And so I just remember just the all-time leading interception guy, Herbert Booker, had a 106-yard return or 103, whatever it was here, and it was hard to get a shot here. And obviously, we're so low. If we'd been on the other side, it would have been better, but that's the breaks. It'll be the Wildcats kicking off to the Karns Beavers. Wildcats will be wearing their Cardinal pants, their white jerseys, and their Cardinal numerals, while the Karns Beavers will be wearing their white football pants, their blue and gold, a blue and gold stripe down the side of their pants. Number 17 back to receive the kick for the Karns Beavers. Eli Pearson to kick off for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. Everybody ready for this ball game here at Karns High School here on FM 92.7, FM 94.7. Very loud student section across the way for the Karns Beavers. The Oak Ridge student section to our right. And this region ball game is about to get set here from Karns. We had some threatening skies when we first arrived here, but things are better. Here's the kick. It's a line drive. Kick's going to scoot into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. And the Karns Beavers will take over. First down, 10 yards to go. The ball will be at their own 20. As we're looking at it from the visitor side, they'll be moving left to right if you're listening to us on the radio. As Alex, it wasn't a end-over-end kick in the end zone, but just as effective.
Yeah, it got a good roll. It was almost kind of came off his foot like a rugby-style punt, where it's kind of a low-line driver, and it kind of spins almost horizontally versus across, over the top of one end over the other. So it'll be interesting to see here, Dave. Obviously, a lopsided game on paper, right? These two rosters and the records of this so far: Karns 0-3, Oak Ridge 2-0 through as we enter week 4, Oak Ridge's 3rd week of play. But
Brandon Hayward, this team, he was out there in the pregame warm-up saying, hey, let's get in and out of here. Let's basically telling the starters, let's make this a quick one. Let's not take them lightly. They meant business, so let's see if they can keep that focus as we start the game.
Karns has had trouble running the football through their first 3 ball games. I think Coach Rang told you that there was one game where they threw for 39 times during the game. I think that's the best part of their offense. Their defense has struggled big time, so Wildcats hoping to pick up big numbers. There is a delay from the outset here. And the Wildcats are going to get Adam Washington into the ball game. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go, and eventually we'll have this game underway. You've got the roster for Karns. We were just given it to us just recently. Quarterback's going to drop back to pass, feeling some pressure, floats one down the way. Pass is going to be intercepted by Oak Ridge. Picked off by the Wildcats at the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35. That's Brandon Hayward, and he's tackled back at the 43-yard line. There is a flag down on the play.
The flag, but it came out, I believe, David, a couple seconds after Hayward picked it off. So if there is a penalty, it's probably going to be on Oak Ridge. Now another one comes in. I don't know. I think somebody may have been jawing. But I think both of these penalties that are on the ground, David, are going to be after the interception, meaning worst-case scenario, they're both against Oak Ridge. I believe that Oak Ridge's offense will retain possession.
Well, they didn't start the clock. That's one issue that's going to have to be dealt with. And by the way, I was not listening to halftime last week. Did they put extra time on the clock? I know you love that.
I think they did last second, but it was very close. They didn't at first, David. And for a second, I got giddy.
The Wildcats are on offense. The quarterback is the sophomore Blaine Stansberry. The backfield consists of Dozier. Brandon Hayward will be a receiver to the right. The Wildcats have Will Presley and Almani Rimbert as well to his right. The dead ball foul is going to be signaled. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Karns. Oak Ridge was penalized. They offset. The Wildcats will take over. First down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at the Karns 42-yard line. So first play of the ball game, the Wildcats get an interception, and they have an opportunity to go on offense.
And I would not be surprised here, knowing that mentality. Hayward just picked it off. He was in the pregame huddle and warm-up saying, hey, let's not give these guys any life. Let's jump on them early. I would not be surprised if you don't see a play action in the first play or two with a deep shot down at it for Oak Ridge, just to try to keep that foot on the gas.
I'll just be happy when the game starts, actually. They've still got 12 up on the scoreboard clock. I saw one of the officials wander over to the sideline of the Karns Beavers, probably to talk to the official, electric clock operator. Wildcats have been at home the first 2 ball games, victories over Sevier County and Powell a week ago. Those were non-region ball games. This game, much more important. It is a region ball game.
No, absolutely. And, no matter the record coming into the game, region games always have just a little bit more oomph into them for the most part. And like you said, it doesn't matter how big or how small the rivalry is. If they're in your region, that game is just as important as any other on the schedule, certainly.
Well, I think we're about to get set here. They probably, nope, we're not. They're going to call a timeout. Will they try to fix the clock, I'm sure. So why don't we take a break? We'll send it back to Brian Bennett. It's Oak Ridge and Karns. When we come back, Oak Ridge will have it first down, 10 yards to go. We'll be back to Karns High School in 60 seconds.
Okay, the official, the shorter one with the dreadlocks coming down, David, I used to work with, nicknamed him Ref Curry. He looks like this. So if you get close to him, he really does. It's very funny. That was Leffler calling me. Right as kickoff.
Yeah.
You don't even know if Hayward's going to finish it. I said, if she can get here, there's a spot. But of course.
Hey, Dave, have you ever seen a better sophomore team in 30 years I've been than this?
Yeah, if they stay together, they'll be really good.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Washington getting out there tonight, too. That's good.
Yeah.
They're the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, and, the Princeton team. Welcome back once again to Karns High School. The Wildcats have it first down, 10 yards to go. The ball just inside the 42-yard line. The Wildcats moving right to left. 11:51 officially on the clock in the first quarter. Stansberry hands it off to Brandon Hayward. He's across the 40, and he is trying to break a tackle. Cannot. He is tackled right at the 40-yard line. It's a gain of about 2. He tried to cut back inside and got tackled by the ankle. It'll be second down and about 8.
I wonder if Oak Ridge has emphasized a speed advantage on the edge this week, because 2 plays from scrimmage, one, Hayward picked it off and he tried to cut back across field, and then on offense, the next play, he gets the ball and tries to cut back across. I think they think if they can get to the outside, they're going to make some plays.
Elmonte Rimbert and Will Presley split out to the left side. The Wildcats, Dozier in the backfield. Bain comes in motion once again. That's Hayward. Second down and 8. Blaine's going to pass. Looks deep. Looks to the sideline. Fires a pass. It's going to be complete. No, it's incomplete. Couldn't see. I was kind of screened by the team. It was intended for Will. It would have been a little bit short of a first down. It'll bring up third down. We'll call it 9 yards to go for the Wildcats. The ball at the Karns 40-yard line.
We've seen Coach Ring has a little Steve Spurrier in him. What I mean by that is if a play works, he's not afraid to call it 2 times in a row. We'll see that whether it's this play or another play soon. That time they had a couple guys going to the left side. They threw to Will, but they had Hayward cutting across on a post route. He had the safety beat. It would have been 6. I would not be surprised to see them go back to that soon.
Third down, 9 yards to go. He rolls out to the left, looks to fire a pass. Pass is going to be incomplete. Got deflected at the line of scrimmage and almost picked off. He just couldn't quite hold on to it. And the Wildcats will have it fourth down, and I don't see any movement from the punt team as of right now. The Wildcats will go for it at the Karns 40.
A nice play by Simon Tutu. Nearly got an interception there. I think Stansbury was trying to get the ball to Brandon Hayward, just not quite enough on that one. And like you said, an early fourth down upcoming for Oak Ridge. Karns, their offense, obviously not how you want to start on the first play, throw an interception, but their defenses look good through 3 plays.
And it looks like we have another timeout call, this time by Karns. 10:50 to play first quarter, just underway. Oak Ridge and the Karns Beavers will take a quick timeout. We'll be back to Karns in 30 seconds. David Clary back here along with Alex Myers. Scoreless ball game. The Wildcats intercepted the first pass of the ball game for Karns. Haven't been able to move but a yard. It's fourth down and 9 yards to go. Stansbury to pass. Has time across the way. Pass is caught by Brandon Hayward. Moves the ball to the 30. He's got a first down. Cuts inside and still on his way. Now cuts to the outside. It'll be a 10 bank of Oak Ridge first down. Tackled finally at the 27-yard line, first and 10.
Yeah, thank goodness. I thought Hayward was going to go backwards for a second. He caught the ball just at that first down marker, and wisely he decided not to do that. He cut back and then got north and south again. Made several people miss, but got just enough for that first down. Great throw, great protection, and a great run after catch from Brandon Hayward.
Officially the ball at the 26-yard line of Karns. The clock is still at 10:20. The Wildcats will see 2 receivers split to the right. Full house backfield, Vashawn Knowles in a slot to the right. It'll be the handoff to Dozier. Dozier tries to get outside, and now he cuts back inside. Goes down the sideline, 5-yard line. That is where he's tackled. It'll be first down. Goal to go for the Wildcats at that point. DeJavis Dozier, his first carry of the ball game.
And it was a really good run, but honestly, that's a couple times now that Karns has gotten deep penetration into the back tilt, into up front in the interior defensive line. But Oak Ridge, Dozier just used the stiff arm and his speed to outrun that. It almost was a loss, and instead he turns that into about a 10 or 15-yard gain, and it's first and goal Wildcats, I believe, from the 7-yard line.
9:43 to play first quarter. Stansbury's going to hand it off to Dozier again. He's going to be tackled this time. No, he breaks the tackle, cuts to the outside. He stumbles, fumbles the football, but he was down. They're going to say he was down. They're going to say he is down right at the 1 or 2-yard line officially. They'll put him down right at the 6-inch line probably. He kind of he lost his footing as he made his cut towards the end zone and went down.
Yeah, and we've seen that with Hayward several times already, and now with Dozier. These guys are looking to go. It's almost like with intent, David. Once they get going one way, they're trying to cut back across the grain, and that time it worked nearly for a touchdown.
Wildcats have it second down, goal to go. The ball is at the Karns 1-yard line. Blaine Stansbury, the sophomore quarterback from the shotgun, is going to pass. Looks to Rimbert, fires it to him. Touchdown, Oak Ridge! Almani, Rembert in the end zone, and the Wildcats take a 6-0 lead with 8 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the first quarter. 6-0 Oak Ridge.
Just a beautiful, beautiful, almost a zigzag route, if you want to call it that. Rembert starts out, and on that left side on the near hash, the cornerback has got to be aware that teams want to run a slant. It's the most difficult play to defend down there is a slant. So Rembert takes 2 steps, cuts like he's going to slant, puts that inside foot in as the kick is up and good. It was a great play design by Coach Rain, great route, great throw, touchdown after the extra point is good. We'll go for a 60-second timeout. It's 7-0 Wildcats from Karns High School.
What are these guys' names?
Simon Tutu.
Was that?
Simon Tutu.
Welcome back once again to Karns High School. The Wildcats on top, 7-0. Eli Pearson about to kick off for the Wildcats. So Oak Ridge takes advantage of the turnover. Here's an end-over-end kick. It's going to be fielded at the 3, to the 5, to the 10, up to the Karns sideline, to the 15, to the 20, to the 30-yard line, and pushed out of bounds finally up the field, way up the field. Let's see where they officially say he went out of bounds. Wildcats, not great coverage there on their Karns sideline, and they've got great field position to start their second drive.
Yeah, they had Simon Tutu back deep, but Oak Ridge elected to kick it toward the right hash, and it was actually the senior Gavin Duke who returned that. Almost think he's not a very big guy, David. I think Oak Ridge may have had some trouble locating him for a moment, but he just got north and south, went straight up that Karns sideline. A really nice starting field position up near the 40-yard line.
They got a big fullback in there and a tailback, an offset eye. Quarterback's going to hand it to the tailback, and he's going to be hit at the line. Moves the ball forward for a gain of perhaps 2 on the play. On their first down play, their first play of their first drive, they threw it and threw an interception. This time they went a little smarter and elected to run the ball, and they gained about 2.
Yeah, it looked like Fernandez on the carry that time. David, in a game, and don't get me wrong, I'm glad Oak Ridge runs the offense they do because we're putting up a lot of points, but it's kind of fun to see an old-school I formation with a forward-leaning fullback like Karns has in there right now.
They've got a receiver split to the right. It's second down, 8 yards to go. Handoff to the big guy. The fullback moves the ball forward and gains about, 3 or 4 more yards. It'll be third down facing the Karns Beavers. Third down and about 4.5 yards to go. 7:45 to play. We're in the first quarter. It's a 7-0 lead for the Wildcats.
Jay Alsop, the fullback, in there that time. They've rotated 2 fullbacks in there. Now they're going to go with Alsop in there again. This is their big package.
Third down, 4 yards to go. Receivers left and right. There's movement across the line by Oak Ridge, and that'll probably give them a first down.
It will, and I think that's key, David, as Oak Ridge, like you said, they jumped early up front. I think if I'm Karns, not knowing everything about their team, but knowing their record, knowing sort of what they're going through right now, I think the key for them offensively will be just to keep things in front of them, keep things manageable, right? Gain a couple yards here, a couple of yards there. You don't have to gain 10 or 15 yards a pop, but keep yourself in third and manageable. And by doing that, they got the first down right there.
Ball's at the 48-yard line. Quarterback's going to pass, fires a pass out in the flat. It's going to be caught. The tackle is made. Then the ball comes loose. Wildcats not celebrating, and it'll be for the Karns Beavers. It's going to be incomplete. It'll be second down. Yeah, I guess they did call it complete. I thought it was, and then fumbled, and they're moving the marker up to the 42-yard line. So it is a gain of about 5 yards.
Nice little route there. They had a couple receivers going deep. It drug the Oak Ridge defensive backs downfield to stop that from happening. He just sort of slipped out there for 3 or 4 yard gain, and I guess they're actually going to call it about a 6 yard gain. So again, second and manageable, and now that run game, that power run game is in play for the Beavers.
7-0 is our score. We're just underway in the first quarter. Hand off to the tailback, and he finds some running room, bounces to the outside, and then a swarm of white shirts come and drop him, including Dallas Frent and Vashon Knowles there on the stop of the Wildcats.
Kareem Ellis, he's the tailback. He's the first time he's actually touched the ball. They've given the ball to the fullback twice. That was the first time they'd given it to the halfback. Good-looking athlete back there. Not sure he's got quite the speed that the guy in the past couple years has, but he's a big guy. I'm sure he's got some power as well. He gained 3 that time. 1 yard to go here. Now, if you're Oak Ridge, you got to keep in mind what happened last time. That you cannot jump. You got to watch for the hard count.
Here they come to the line, 3rd down. It's about a full yard to go. Straight I formation. Once again, one lone receiver to the right and a slot to the right. Hand off to the running back, and he does have the first down. And he moves the pile forward and moves the ball to the 35-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 yards to go for the Karns Beavers. This drive started at their own 40-yard line on a really nice return of about 38 yards from the kickoff, and they've steadily moved the ball up the field.
And I think this is a perfect storm if you're Karns going your direction, because not only are you moving it, you're taking a lot of time off the clock. They want to shorten this game, right? They don't want to give Oak Ridge more possessions. So this is like a perfect scenario for them offensively.
First down, 10 yards to go for the Karns Beavers. Quarterback's to pass, feeling pressure, rolls to his right, moves the ball forward, and is tackled from the backside. Gained about 2 on the play. The Wildcats tracked down, I believe, like J.T. Gorman, I believe. It'll be for the Beavers. Perhaps a gain of maybe 2 yards. We'll call it a long 8 to go. Second down, 8 yards to go. And you're exactly right. This is what Karns wants to do. They don't want Oak Ridge's offense to be on the field.
Yeah, and I think that's a very smart thing that they're doing. And Dave, number 38, seeing a sort of a little bit of an undersized linebacker hustling and using his speed to make a play from behind. Reminds me of a number 38 from a couple years ago, Jacob Irvin.
Second down, 8 yards to go for the Beavers. 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. 7-0. Hand off to the running back, and he slithers his way forward, and kind of his line kind of pushed him forward for a gain of 3 or 4 more yards. Really nice push by the interior. They're not big, although there's one guy in the middle there. He's got some size, and he just kind of pushed forward. It's a gain on the play up to as I try to look at the yard marker, the 30-yard line. It's 3rd down, 4 yards to go.
3rd down and 4, and it seems like every time it's been 3rd down, it's been 3rd down and 4 or 3rd down and 2, 3rd and short. And here another opportunity. I would be shocked if they didn't run this.
Wildcats have a 7-0 lead. Here's the handoff. This time nothing. He is hit at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down and about 3 yards to go facing the Karns Beavers. The Wildcats had a 4th down, went for it, got the first down, eventually went for the touchdown. Karns has nothing to lose. They're in no man's land right at the Oak Ridge 30. It is 4th down and 4 yards to go.
4th and 4. We know that they have it in the bag, the willingness to throw the ball. But obviously, you've got to respect the run from 3rd and medium here. You got to think play action, getting the quarterback out on the roll is probably what I'd like to see if I'm a Karns fan.
I formation. Receivers to the left. Now flags are down. Nope, just going to be a timeout. Timeout asked for by the Karns Beavers. 7-0 Oak Ridge. We've played 3 minutes. We have 3 minutes and 43 seconds to play in the first quarter. Live from Karns High School. Back 7-0 Wildcats. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
I haven't tweeted.
It's a little tricky. Like, I think I found a good angle for it, but it's a little weird.
Okay. And we appreciate all of our sponsors, including the class of 1989, who's sponsoring all of our touchdowns this year, and Tin Bank sponsoring our first downs and our injury timeouts. Hopefully not many of those. East Tennessee Spine and Sport. And, of course, our halftime show by the Madison Insurance Group. As the Beavers come back out on the field, it'll be 4th down and 4 yards to go. Going to try to attempt to do the clock here, Alex?
I'm going to try. I'm not a mathematician, but this is probably spelling danger. But here we go, Dave. 4th down, big play early on.
And the quarterback's going to hand it to the back, tries to get outside. No place to go except to the turf here at Karns High School. The Wildcats will take over on downs.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, it looked like there was a fumble, too, at the end. I think they called – he wasn't down. The ball came out. I think they called forward progress had been stopped, and they had already changed possessions as the clock is still running here, Dave. I don't think – it's hard for me to keep the clock to begin with, but that when we're having plays go off with no time going and in between possessions the clock's running, I'm going to have a really hard time trying to do this.
Yeah, most definitely. It's very difficult. They say 3:21 up on the scoreboard clock, so they ticked off 18 seconds really without it even actually showing on the clock, but now that's what it says. Wildcats take over, 1st down, 10 yards to go. Lane Stansbury will pass caught by Brandon Hayward. Brandon down the sideline, cuts across the 40 to the 39-yard line, and that is where he is tackled. It'll be 1st down, 10 yards to go. A 10 Bank of Oak Ridge 1st down. Stansbury to Hayward, 1st and 10 Wildcats. One of the Beavers is down on the field. That'll give me an opportunity to take a quick break. We've got 3:11 to play in the 1st quarter, and Oak Ridge leads it 7-0. Brian, I'm going to send it back to you quickly one more time. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Sure you don't want that? Yes.
Back here at Karns High School after the injury from Karns, everything's ready, set to go. I want to mention, though, that last play, big gain for Oak Ridge. It was set up by great blocking on the outside, Will Presley and Vashon Knowles at the wideout positions.
1st and 10, Stansbury rolls to his right, looks to Hayward again, fires it deep, pass is a little underthrown, and it's batted away right at the 9-yard line. Good coverage out there by the Beavers. Nobody was going to catch that, but the Karns guy came over there and almost picked it off. Couldn't do that, but did bat it down.
Yeah, and Blaine's got a good enough arm to get that there. So the reason it was short to me, I think it was just the timing was off. It looked like as soon as Brandon came out of his break, he had a guy beat by about 10 yards, but it looked like timing-wise, Blaine was just now getting his eyes downfield. I don't know if maybe the play action took a little bit longer than it was supposed to or something, but something threw the timing off, and it's a missed opportunity from Oak Ridge. But you can see there, as we talked about a couple plays into this game, David, they've got opportunities galore downfield against these defensive backs.
The Wildcats are penalized 5 yards, so they're going to step the ball back. So it'll be for Oak Ridge, 1st down, 15 yards to go. You and I were talking. I didn't actually see what the penalty was called. Ball is at the 44-yard line of Karns. Oak Ridge on top, 7-0. Stansbury hands it off. Once again, Dozier. Dozier lowers his shoulder, gets the 5 yards back out in the penalty and gain about 5. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 yards to go. We're at Karns. When we got here, it's a beautiful day. It's kind of breezy. For the temperatures we've had, it's just a beautiful night for football, and that's why we've got such a huge crowd here at Karns.
Huge crowd. We knew it would be big on the Oak Ridge side. It's an easy trip. Oak Ridge is looking really good, obviously, a couple games into this season. I didn't know that it would be so big for this Karns team that struggled a little bit, honestly, early on, but they've got a great crowd, one of the better crowds I've seen them have for an Oak Ridge game as well.
2nd down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at the Beaver 39-yard line. Straight drop. Here comes a little pass out, complete for the Wildcats. I think that's perhaps Price Davis moving the ball up the field. He moves the ball up close to the 30-yard line. It'll be still short. Price Davis indeed on the reception. It'll be 3rd down and about 2 yards to go for the Wildcats. Moving right to left if you're listening to us on the radio. The Wildcats have converted 1 4th down. They don't want to convert a 4th down. They want to get it right here. 3 receivers to the right, including Will Presley, the sophomore. The movement across the line, that might be a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge. 1st down because the Beavers jumped across the line, and indeed that'll be a 5-yard step off and a 1st down for the Wildcats.
They could call that on a couple of guys. A couple of defensive linemen for Karns jumped across, and hey, Oak Ridge got burned by it earlier. Now Oak Ridge returns the favor to Karns, and it's 1st and 10 right at that 25-yard line. Great field position, great opportunity with 1:37 left in the first quarter to try to go up 2 scores.
From the 25-yard line, Blaine the pass again. End zone, Almani again. Pass is going to be incomplete. Good coverage again by the Karns Beavers. A lot of air underneath it, but that was really the only way he was going to get it to Almani. It'll be second down and 10 yards to go. 1:25 to play. Alex, I know it's a hard task. I actually was going to try to find somebody to do just the clock for us today, but wasn't able to find that person. It's not the most glamorous job in the world. Second down 10, quick pass out, complete. Brandon Hayward. Brandon's got a first down. He runs over the top of his own man, moves the ball to the 10-yard line, I believe beyond. It'll be a first down, a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down. They might be able to pick up still another first down. The ball just perhaps on that side of the 10-yard line. The Wildcats moving quickly. 1:14 to play.
With all due respect to Karns, this just looks like a game where Brandon Hayward knows he's the best athlete on the field and wants to make a statement.
Wildcats have Will Presley and Price Davis and Brandon Hayward to the left. Here comes Almani Rimbert. He's going to have to come out of the game. Wildcats are going to substitute into the game. Valen Henderson, 6'2" freshman. He's going to check into the ball game. Wildcats coached by Derek Rang in his first year as the head coach. Won a state championship at Dresden High School. First down, 10 yards to go. Under a minute to play here in the first quarter. Stansbury looking at a blitz. Fires the pass. It's intercepted right at the 3-yard line. He tried to throw off his back foot and just couldn't plant that front foot. Was trying to get enough of it to go to Will or to Brandon. Just didn't have enough, and that's an interception. That's one thing that Coach Rang mentioned. And this is a sophomore quarterback we're talking about. He's got to cut down on the interceptions. That's one thing that has concerned him. I heard him tell you that on the pregame.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he's clearly frustrated himself. Blaine is. He's a smart enough kid. He knows when he's made a mistake. And he walked past Coach Rang and was going to head towards the sideline. And I saw Coach Rang kind of pull him back, and say, hey, come here, you're going to stand with me. And it's a teachable moment. And, this is the type of game that with all likelihood you're going to be able to have some of those teachable moments. Maybe you can make a mistake like this and live with it in a game like this, but you got to work towards the end of the season when maybe you're playing somebody, David, who you can't afford to make that play against.
49 seconds to play in the first quarter, 7-0. The Wildcats in the lead. Region ball game here at Karns. The Wildcats traveling next week to McMinn County High School to take on the Cherokees. Karns has the ball at their own 4-yard line. They're going to hand it to the running back, and he is met in the backfield and dropped by Vashawn Knowles and one other Wildcat. It's going to be no game, perhaps. Well, looks like they might have given him a yard. It'll be for Karns. Second down, 9 yards to go. The ball at just past the 5-yard line of Karns. Down to 35 seconds and counting. 7-0, the Wildcats in the lead.
Nice play by Elijah Bradley. He had a really nice week. Vashawn gets a lot of the credit because he makes the sort of spotlight plays, but Elijah Bradley quietly having a really nice season for the Cats as well.
Second down, we'll call it 8 yards to go. Quarterback's going to hand it to the back again, and once again he is met, stuck on the right side. The interior line, the entire team drives him back. After a gain of only about 2, it'll be third down, and that's the final play of the first quarter. So we played 1 quarter complete here at Karns High School. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge on top of the Karns Beavers by a score of 7-0. My name is David Clary, along with Alex Myers, Mike Sheehan, Kason Jackson, along with Lee Wexler, Alex Boraxa, Josh Frazier. We'll be back. Brian Bennett at the station. We'll be back for the second quarter in 60 seconds. And we appreciate everybody who's watching our broadcast or listening to our broadcast on FM 92.7. We appreciate all of our sponsors, including Todd Fox, with the Fox Insurance Group, the Oak Ridge Utility District, and Oak Ridge's graduating class of 1989, the Pizza Inn of Oak Ridge, Tennessee Orthopedic Clinics, TK Wheeler Jewelers, just to name a few. They sponsor us. Do business with them, because we wouldn't have the broadcast if it wasn't for our sponsors. Karns has it, 3rd down, 6 yards to go. The ball resting at their own 8-yard line. They haven't put 12 on the clock yet. The official clock keeper is not really with it today.
And you're not even talking about me right now. Actually, I noticed something as the clock was ticking down. It went from 11 to 9. It didn't even say 10. So maybe not the best first game for me to try to be keeping the clock, because I'm trying to kind of mirror what that does, and it's kind of impossible when it's skipping around. But, hey, I feel like it gives me a free pass to just kind of stink at my job tonight.
3rd down, 6 yards to go. The ball at the Karns 8. Quarterback's going to hand it to the tailback, and he squirts forward, and I believe he's about a yard short.
And the clock still hasn't started.
Yep. They're going to have to bring their punt team onto the field. Wildcats on top by a score of 7-0, and you're right, the clock is still not started here.
Maybe they should start going off of the Prep Radio YouTube channel's clock, David.
Maybe. Officially, it's going to be 4th down, and it looks like 6 yards to go. The officials stop play once again. The Wildcats have a man standing back at the 50-yard line. Yeah, Almonte Rimbert's been the guy returning kicks, but I don't believe that's him. That's Price Davis standing back at the 50-yard line. 4th down, 3 yards to go. 7-0 Wildcats. They'll be punting from their own end zone if they indeed punt. Wildcats don't need to jump off sides. Look how small their line is, Karns.
It looks like almost like a freshman team, and it's not linemen either. And you don't typically have guards and tackles running down the field on special teams, but you typically see guys that look more like middle linebackers. And these guys kind of look like freshman skill position players. I mean, this is not a huge roster, but kind of surprised like you. I would not be shocked if Coach Rang sees that at some point. They don't just try to overpower them and sort of straight rush, bull rush them.
Valen Henderson is also back to receive the punt. The snap is good. Is he going to punt? He's rugby style. He does punt. Oh, what a nice high towering spiral. It's going to take a bounce right around midfield, and the Wildcats will have good field position officially at the 48-yard line. He's a rugby style kicker, and obviously he had some room on that side, it looked like, but I guess somebody had stayed at home, and he did punt it, but what a beautiful punt.
I think it may have been Vashon Knowles. There was one Wildcat I saw sort of in the periphery of my vision that was sort of in play. I still think he could have got it, but the more interesting thing is I like what he did right there as a punter. So many times, everybody just goes out for the return team, and the punter just kicks it as quick as he can. Oak Ridge didn't rush the punter, so I've always thought if they're not going to rush you might as well wait, let your team get down there before you kick it.
1st and 10, handoff goes to Dozier, cuts to the outside, down the sideline he goes. He's going to pick up a 10 bank of Oak Ridge, 1st down, and still moves all the way down to around the 30-yard line of the Karns Beavers, and that'll be a 10 bank of Oak Ridge. 1st and 10 Wildcats. The Wildcats on the move.
If I were to ask Jared Bafford what his favorite breakfast for dinner spot is, I'm going to guess it's not Waffle House, probably IHOP, because that was one of the best pancake blocks I've seen of this young season. You'll have to go back on the film and watch this on our YouTube channel, David. He flattened a guy about 4 yards back and just drove him into the ground that opened that play up.
He's done that several times, and I know his grandmother's watching us today up in Kentucky, so thanks for watching our broadcast on YouTube. 1st down, 10 yards to go. The ball at the 32-yard line. Blaine to pass, a little harder. That's going to be Vashon Knowles. He's inside the 10-yard line. Another 10 bank of Oak Ridge, 1st down. A great completion. Lots of zip on that one, and the big senior makes the catch.
Yeah, it was a really courageous throw right there. Attaboy, Blaine. He stepped up in the pocket, knew he was going to take a shot. The guy was coming from his face side, so coming from that right side as a right-handed passer, knew he was going to get hit, threw it anyways, absorbed the hit.
Wildcats are going to hand the ball off into the end zone. Touchdown! The Jarvis Dozier. The Wildcats score with 11:08 to play in the second quarter to take a 13-0 lead over Karns.
24-yard pass sets up the 8-yard finishing run from DeJavis Dozier, and he's just the finisher, David. Anytime they get inside the red zone, he's got a nose for the end zone, and he just finished off another drive right there.
Eli Pearson to attempt the extra point. Adam Washington to hold. TJ Hibben to snap. The ball is down, the kick is up, and the kick, it is good. 14-0 Oak Ridge, 11:08 to play in the first half from Karns High School. In a game you're listening to live on FM 92.7, FM 94.7, and our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We'll be back with a Wildcat kickoff in 60 seconds.
I felt it. I still Cleveland 14 fair to nothing. Cleveland 14 fair to nothing. Cleveland looked really good. How do I get the clock to come up? Because I'm trying to keep it and I just realized it's not actually showing.
David Clary back here along with Alex Myers here. The Wildcats on top 14-0 over the Karns Beavers. Region ball game. We're going to be checking in to see about that Clinton-Campbell County ball game. That's a big region ball game going on tonight. Big game for the Dragons, who went 0-5 in the region a year ago. Here's the kickoff. Eli spins it to the goal lines, fielded at the 1, to the 5. Down the Oak Ridge sideline, the Wildcats missed tackle there, and he's pushed out of bounds hard. Big hit there by the Wildcats. It'll be for the Beavers, first down and 10 yards to go.
Kind of a sneaky good return unit here for Karns early on, and I guess the ball's only about the 25-ish. It's hard to see from this low angle we're at, but they nearly had a lot more than that. And this Oak Ridge special teams unit, they got to make sure they're wrapping up on these tackles because these guys are kind of elusive back there.
This is probably the biggest game in terms of crowd size at Karns that I have ever seen. There are people. There's not enough seats here. Of course, we're taking up about 40, but there's people behind us on the bank here. It's the biggest crowd I've seen here at Karns for a ball game.
Yeah, well, I'll just say yeah.
First down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at the Karns 20-yard line. They're moving right to left, wearing their all blue jerseys. And there's I was going to say shot clock violation, a play clock violation there. And that'll be a 5-yard step off and delayed. It'll be delay a game against Karns.
And I want to take credit for Oak Ridge. I want Oak Ridge to take credit for some of this, and I do think I don't know that I've ever seen that many fans in the Karns section. So clearly they've shown out. But as Mike Sheehan just pointed out, there's Cardinal and Gray fans all along the fence like this was Blankenship, and I think there's just such a palpable excitement for this Oak Ridge team and what they've done so far this year.
First down, 15 yards to go. The tailback's got it once again, trying to get wide. He's tripped up as he tries to get some running room. Just not a whole lot of room there for him to run. The Wildcat defense, Wildcats getting players in and out. Looks like Hayden Malcody is coming into the ball game for the Wildcats. He's shuttling in, another senior player. Not a whole lot of seniors on this team.
No, and that's always a good thing when you can trot a bunch of players out there are going to come back. But the seniors, I think sometimes the other side of that argument is when you only have a few seniors, their leadership and how they lead this team is that much more important because there are so few of them.
Gain of a yard on the play. Second down, 14 yards to go. 10-19 and counting in the second quarter. 14-0 Wildcats. Big play. Here's a pass. Going to be caught. Boom! A nice stick right at the line of scrimmage there. Wildcats. Big hit there, and it's made by, I believe, Bryce Dorsey.
Yeah, Bryce Dorsey. Elijah Bradley had a big hit on the quarterback. Quarterback knew it was coming. He delivered a blow. I think if he sticks his hands up, he probably can bat that one down. 6'4", rangy arms, kind of looks like a wing on a small college basketball team, his frame. But I think sometimes those guys just want to hit the quarterback, and I don't blame them.
Right at the line of scrimmage, it'll be a gain of about 3. Nice play defensively, as you said, by both Elijah Bradley and Dorsey. It'll be third down, 11 yards to go. They're going to pass. Here's the pass. It's going to be incomplete, and it's going to be fourth down and 11, and the punt team will have to come back out on the field for the Karns Beavers. 9.5 minutes to play. We're in the second quarter. from Karns High School. Next week, we'll be traveling down to Athens, home of the Cherokees. McMinn County High School will be the site of the ball game, a non-region ball game. And then after that, the Wildcats will only have, I think, one more non-region game. That'll be against Bearden. The rest will be, against Clinton coming up. You got, Campbell County coming up as well.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. They're not my favorite team we've ever played against, but I do like that trip. It's a fun trip. Get to go down there and eat, and it's a good trip.
High snap. The punter is going to punt it. The high kick is going to be bouncing. The Wildcats got to get around away from it, and they do. They'll take over. Great field position. The ball at the Wildcat 46-yard line. Former Tennessee Vol Jim Woofter in attendance, former assistant coach and offensive coordinator of the Wildcats in the Bill Young era. Coach Woofter was a really fine player for the University of Tennessee back in the day. Played for Bill Battle. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that, but I do know that his son was also a really good standout lineman and basketball player, two-sport athlete for the Wildcats as well.
Greg Woofter, the first Mr. Football we've ever had. There's some movement on the line that's going to cost Oak Ridge perhaps 5 yards. It is going to be a legal procedure. He was our first Mr. Football. Who was our second? None other than Mr.
I'm going to guess it would be T. Higgins.
Yeah, of course. Back-to-back years as Mr. Football. They're the only three we've ever had.
I was going to say, it's hard to believe that those are the only two.
Quick pass out to Will Presley. Makes the catch to the 40, to the 50-yard line, and that is where he is tackled. Gained about 7, maybe 8 yards on the play. Yeah, we had several finalists for that, but they always seem to go to other people. Like Todd Hilton beat Sean Summers out, but you know what? Sean's got a state championship. Todd has about 500 home runs and a lot of money in the bank, but I think I'll tell you the story about Todd Hilton. I probably told you before. Anyway, we'll come back to that. Second down, then about 6 yards to go. The Wildcats moving left to right. Stansberry back to pass again. Here comes the pressure. Eludes that pressure. Wants to run. Tries to stiff arm. Is going to be sacked. He's going to be third and about 10.
I'll tell you one thing I know about Todd Helton. I know several things about him, but one thing is I know he did it one too many times, Dave.
Yes, he did. 1991. But you talk about, he was a 4-year starter at quarterback for the Central Bobcats, and man, he was a really, really good player. I talked to him one time in Atlanta at a Braves game. He wasn't talking about baseball or anything. He was talking about that 91 semifinal round game at Central High School.
It's an incredible game. I know that you put it on YouTube in full for the first time ever a couple years ago, and just the quality of game and athlete and coaches on both sides of the field, just incredible to watch.
3rd and 9. Stansberry pass out to Dozier. He makes the catch, and down the sideline he goes. He is going to go stumbling to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, to the end zone, or did he step out of bounds? I see a touchdown signaled by the official, DeJavis Dozier. Although around the 35-yard line, I see Will Presley talking with the official. He might have stepped out of bounds there. I don't see a flag. Yep, I do see a flag. It is going to be holding against the Wildcats.
It was a 53-yard touchdown run. I don't know if that would have been a run or a pass. It was close to a lateral. I think that would have counted as a forward pass. Impeccable timing, though. They got it out just before the defender threw out his arm to bat it down. Great blocking on the outside, but now we kind of realize why there was such a hole. There was going to be a holding on Oak Ridge. Unfortunately, out on the edge, they got a receiver for that one. So, unfortunately, that negates a 53-yard touchdown scamper off the catch by DeJavis Dozier. His balance, his vision, his speed, his patience, he's totally just the definition of a complete back at this level.
And it is 3rd down, 11 yards to go. Another timeout is asked for. 7:45 to play. We're in the first half at Karns. 14-0 Wildcats. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
I guess I'll tweet.
Welcome back once again to Karns High School. The Wildcats have it 3rd and 11. Stansbury rolls to his right, has time, flags are down, pass is caught. It would be a first down. Brandon Hayward tippy toes out of bounds. We might have a hold again on the Wildcats, and that is indeed the call.
Yeah, and that one, there was zero hesitation from the back judge that time. He threw it before Blaine Stansbury even threw that pass. And so Mike Sheehan and I over here on the left side, we kind of saw that immediately. And it's unfortunate because, like you said, it was a nice throw and catch. Got just enough for the first down. Nice play design out of the timeout. But unfortunately, 2 plays in a row, all for nothing.
14-0, the Wildcats do have the lead here, 7:34 to play. I would have thought we've had a few more points in this one to this point. The Wildcats have been able really to do whatever they want to do, but these penalties have hurt them. The Wildcats have not really, well, the first half of last week's game, they had a few penalties, but second half was pretty good, and the same with the Jefferson County ball game. Now it's 3rd down and 21 yards to go. So let's see what Coach Rang and his offensive staff dial up. Blaine's going to go deep, wide open. He makes the catch. 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Oak Ridge. The Wildcats take it all the way in and lead it now 20-0.
You said it, Dave. They're just kind of getting anything they want. We talked early in the broadcast, just a couple plays into this one, about how the deep ball is going to be there early and often. That time, Oak Ridge really had no other option but to go deep. Backed up 3rd in a long, long way, and I think that was a 65-yard touchdown throw and catch. Blaine Stansbury to Almonte Rimber.
His second touchdown of the ball game, and Oak Ridge goes for the extra point. 7:22 to play first half. Hesitation. Adams going to have to pick it up. He's going to roll to his right. Wanted to pass. Ball is fumbled, but you can't return it. There was a problem at the line from the very beginning. The snap just did not come back to the holder. And let's see if the Wildcats are going to kick again. No penalty flags, or I believe they'll just go without the extra point, and it's 20-0. 7:22 to play in the second quarter. That was another class of 1989 Oak Ridge touchdown. We'll take a break. We'll send it back. We'll come back with a kickoff following this 60-second timeout. The Wildcats getting set to kick off, and here it is by Eli Pearson. End over end kick. It's going to be fielded in the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. So Eli Pearson's kick is a touchback, and the Beavers will take over. First down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at the 20-yard line. The Wildcats on top, 20-0. Something just looked very out of sync on the snap. I don't think the snap came back when they expected it to, and the kick never got off.
Well, and you think about college and high school versus pros, and when your knee's down, you can't run with it. Well, Adam Washington sort of bobbled the snap, and then he kind of stopped. I think he thought, hey, my knee's down, this play's over, which is a fair thought, and then they didn't blow the whistle, so then he tried to get up and do something with it, but by that point, Karns was in the backfield. It was kind of a little bit of total chaos, but thankfully, they got that rule where it stops. 1st and 10, he wants to pass again. He's going to go long pass, is going to be almost intercepted. The Wildcats had a couple guys in position, including Dallas Frent. I think he was the last hand to get on it. The ball was up for grabs. There was nothing but white shirts around the blue guy. Yeah, Price Davis, Valen Henderson, and Dallas Frent, any of those three, pick your poison, could have picked that ball off and probably think they should have. Fortunately for the Beavers, though, that one fell harmlessly to the turf. It'll bring up 2nd and 10, 7:14 to go here. As quick as this first half went, all of a sudden it seems like we've gone about 3 drives and the clock's only gone about a minute.
7:14, they say, on the clock. 2nd and 10, the ball at the Beaver 20. The Big Blue Band from Beaverland will be playing at halftime of this game on the Madison Insurance Group halftime show. We'll also have the Wild Band as well. Second down and 10. Mark and Sean will have the statistics. There's movement across the line by the left tackle, I believe, of Karns, and that's going to cost them 5.
And the quarterback clapped to send the H-back in motion, and as he did that, I don't know if they were going on a clap count or what, but that left tackle, not only did he fall forward like you would expect a lineman to do, he actually kind of stepped backward and almost looked to be sliding as if he was going to try to go in motion, and obviously they can't do that.
Second down, 15 yards to go. The Wildcats in the lead, 20-0, 7:14 to play. Second period from Karns. Region ball game here. Operating from the 15-yard line. Quarterback's going to hand it off to the running back, and he is going to be hit and driven back again by a host of Wildcats.
Tim Walters had that ball. I thought he came out of there with it, but they're not. Yeah, he just stripped the ball before they blew the whistle, but they didn't give Oak Ridge the ball. So that's unfortunate. I don't know. He had the ball, Mike, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He's so big and strong. He was right in there with the running back. I don't know why they didn't give him that play. Welcome to Knoxville.
I didn't say that. I did not say that, Alex. I have not said a word about
you did not.
Okay. Third down, 13 yards to go. They gave him 2 on the play. The ball's at the 17, 6:35 and counting. Second quarter, 20-0 Wildcats. Once again, they're going to throw deep. Long, man's there. Pass is going to be caught, I believe, around the 45-yard line. Really nice throw and catch. The Wildcats had Valen Henderson and one other defensive back there. Just a nice throw and catch, and it's a first down for the Beavers.
Yeah, the quarterback's got a decent arm, but it's funky kind of the way he throws it, David. He's kind of cocks back, and then he almost kind of checks himself and then reloads to throw it. It's not one smooth motion. If it was a basketball shot, you'd say he's got a hitch in his shot, but hey, it worked that time. Deep pass, deep completion, and all of a sudden Karns with their best field position of the game.
First down, 10 yards to go. The ball's at the 49-yard line after the first down pitch. Here's a nice tackle by Price Davis. Little screen pass and not much going on. Just got a text from the quarterback of that 1991 team, Mike Underwood. He said enough about this Todd Helton stuff.
And Todd Helton was not the answer to a trivia question last week.
Yes.
But Mike Underwood was.
Yes, most definitely. So, Mike, I know you won the state championship too, but, we used you as a trivia question, and the answer, the first person who called got it right.
The first person, and then the 30 people following that continue to call you.
We're going to give away another pizza a little bit later on today. Second down, 11 yards to go. They're going to hand it off to the back. He's grabbed in the backfield and tackled. Really nice play there by the Wildcats. Stop is made, I believe, by Hayden Malcote.
Yeah, Hayden Malcote in there. Also in there, a youngster for Oak Ridge, a good-looking athlete, Malik Howard. Is he just a sophomore?
Malik Howard is a freshman. Malik is a freshman, yes.
He's a big guy. I hope he plays basketball because he looks like Elijah Bradley build-wise. Bradley's a big kid at 6'4", but Malik's a freshman.
I think Malik was dunking in the 6th grade. He's a really, really good basketball player. There's going to be a penalty against the Wildcats. We have been penalized too much. And as Mike said earlier, let's get Mike say it again. Welcome to Mike.
Who? The what?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Mike zoned out.
Yeah.
Ball, the penalty yardage is stepped off to the 38-yard line. It'll be the 37-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Beavers. 20-0 Oak Ridge, 4:08 to play. First half from Karns. Quarterback's going to roll the pass. Fires the pass, caught. Nice play. Tackle is made up the field right at around the 30-yard line. It's a gain on the play of about, we'll call it 6.
And this is always how you want to play defense, and a lot of teams do this, but Oak Ridge, so far this year, they've done such a good job, David. Every time there's a player making the tackle, it makes our job hard because there's never just one guy. There's about 6 guys. As soon as the whistle blows, you look, and half the team's standing over the ball, and that's a great job of pursuing and teaching that pursuit on defense.
Officially a gain of 7, 2nd and 3, 3:29 to play in the first half. Second down, 3 yards to go for Karns. The ball is at the Oak Ridge 30-yard line. They're going to pass again. Pass in the flats, too hard. Henderson defending for the Wildcats. It's now 3rd down and 3 yards to go.
Look behind us as we get set for a big 3rd down here. this hill on Karns, I've never known anybody to sit on that. It kind of looks like Blankenship over here. We've probably got 150 people on the hill to our left just watching the game because there's nowhere in the seats, and the space by the fence is all taken up.
In a moment, we'll get Kaysen to swing the camera over there to show you what Alex is talking about. But as we said, this is by far the biggest crowd I have ever seen at Karns High School. And this is a Karns team that's 0-3 on the season. But it's still high school. It's a beautiful night, too.
And that's part of these small-town community football games at high school. It's not always about the win-loss record. These fans will show up because there's so much pride.
3rd and 3, handoff to the running back, and he is going to be moving the ball forward, but he's still short of a first down by about 2. It'll be 4th down and about 2 yards to go. The Beavers trailing in this one, 20-0, 3:06 to play. This is what we're talking about over on the side to our left. We're in the visitor section, and those people are sitting over there on that bank, and I have never, ever seen that before here.
And he can't swing the camera any further without getting me and Mike in the camera, and we don't want that. But there's even more people than you even just saw if you're watching on the live stream. Big 4th down play here, Dave.
4th down, 2 yards to go. The Oak Ridge crowd making some noise, wanting a stop right here. Ball is at the 29-yard line. The cowbells ringing. The Wildcats trying to stop them right here. Here's a pass in the front. Boom! Big stick. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Price Davis drops him before the first down, and the Wildcats will take over 1st and 10.
Boy, it's good to have Price Davis back. Price and Izzy at those cornerback positions, they almost look like they're cloned, David. They're about the same height, about the same weight, and they play the same, and I love their style. They are fearless, they are relentlessly aggressive, and they do not stop until you are on the ground. What a hit, what a stop, the timing right there to not get there early. Totally great job by Price Davis on that huge 4th down stop. And now with 2:24 to go before halftime, Oak Ridge just got a chance to try to put some more points on the board.
Hey, let's get 6 more before, maybe 7 more, maybe 8 more before halftime. Blaine Stansberry, the sophomore quarterback, will have 2 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. Wildcats, 1st down, 10 yards to go. Dozier in the backfield. Here comes the blitz. Quarterback Stansberry steps up and runs. He moves the ball for a first down. Out of bounds he goes. It'll be a 10-back of Oak Ridge first down right at around the 45-yard line. Great decision by Blaine. He stepped up in the pocket, didn't want to throw another interception, saw green turf in front of him, picks up about 15.
And that's something that is much flat at times, as many times as Blaine's flashed his abilities as a quarterback and his IQ. We haven't seen that out of him a lot, but he does have that in the back. He can run. He's a pretty good athlete.
Hayward comes in motion. He gets the pitch. Tries to cut inside. Needs a block. Moves the ball up the field. He's got close to first down yardage again. He's in Beaver territory at the 46-yard line. It'll be a gain on the play of, looks like perhaps about 8 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 2.
Nice little run there by Hayward again. Hayward's not just, out there showing his feet and his, ability to make defenders miss. He is actively trying to shove defenders off. He is seeking contact out here tonight. I love to see that physicality from a wideout.
1:46 to play. Here comes Dozier with the handoff. He breaks the tackle, breaks free, cuts to the outside. Will he take it to the end zone? He might go. No, he's going to go down right at around the 25-yard line, but a great run as he broke the first initial wave, cut to his right towards the Oak Ridge sideline. It'll be 1st and 10, a 10-bank of Oak Ridge first down.
Dozier is kind of a bully when he has the ball in his hand. He's such a powerful back. The 2 guys that collided to make the tackle came up limping. Dozier got right up.
The Madison Insurance halftime show coming up here. Clouds are getting a little darker here. I hope that doesn't mean...
Well, David, the sun has also set, so.
Yes. Anyway.
We're going to say that's why they're darker. Come on. Then.
Okay, we'll go with that.
David, you've been negative all pregame. You've got to talk positivity into the weather.
Well, Mark and Shauna made us sit out in the West game several years ago, and we just got drenched. I mean, drenched.
They're the ones that made us switch to this side today.
I know. I told Shauna, it's going to rain at West High School. I told her. But you know what happened? She said, no, it's not going to rain, and we got soaked.
It rained every time we had the ball.
Yeah, well, that's true. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go for the Wildcats. Another timeout. We'll have Mark and Shauna's statistics. We'll have Mike's scoring summary you and Alex will do a little talking about upcoming ball games and future cast. Next week we're going to McMinn County. We'll be streaming from down there. Really nice people down there in McMinn County. They help us out a great deal. Here the Wildcats have it. First down, 10 yards to go. The ball's at the Karns 24-yard line. Stansberry with 93 seconds to play in the first half. Wants to pass. Nobody's open. Now here's a pass. It's going to be intercepted again. Might have been deflected at the line. That is the second interception of the first half. It must have gotten batted down.
It got deflected in a big way. That ball was spiraling end over end. Like a kickoff would, David. That looked like a field goal attempt. It definitely got you didn't just get a fingertip on that one. Somebody got a big piece of that one, and looked like that time Blaine was trying to go towards the end zone, and that ball only went about 8 yards, so that got affected majorly. I didn't see who did it. I think it was one of the defensive linemen. 1:25 to go, though. Now Karns tries to take over. Interesting to see deep in their own territory if they try to go for it and get some points, or if they're just content to let this one run out and take it to the break.
Kason Robinson doing camera work along with Alex Waraxa. We also have Josh Frazier, Lee Wexler doing camera work. Mike Sheehan's up here, along with Alex Myers, and Wildcats as they get on defense here. And play is halted, and we've got another officials timeout perhaps, or a timeout asked for by Karns. 20-0, the Wildcats in the lead. 1:25 to play in the second quarter as the Wildcats have the lead. We'll take another quick break. We'll send it back to Brian at the station. We'll be back in 30 seconds. And we appreciate Todd Fox of Fox Insurance Group for being our corporate sponsor of our broadcast all season long. 1st and 10 Karns, nothing. Running back moves the ball forward. They're down 20-0, 1:18 to play. They have not really shown the ability to run the ball much at all. They've picked up some big plays through the air, and the Wildcats have helped them a little bit with with penalties. Wildcats have given them a couple turnovers. Karns has turned the ball over one time. The Wildcats capitalized on that to score their first touchdown. We'll have a complete scoring summary. Mike will do that at halftime on the Madison Insurance Group halftime show. Second down, 8 yards to go, under a minute to play. 20-0, the Wildcats in the lead. Quarterback rolls, fires a pass. He's going to be caught on the Karns sideline. The Wildcats are all over him. He did not get out of bounds. Moved the ball just shy of the 30-yard line at around the 28. And there is somebody down, and that stops the clock with 38 seconds to play here in the first half in a 20-0 game.
You know, it's nice to see Jarrell Jemerson, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, a sophomore. I know he's a basketball player as well. Another young guy, another one of those sophomore class, David. This seems like everywhere you look, there's a sophomore out there on this field. As, again, 38 seconds to go here. Mike, if you're Karns, 3rd and 8 here, are you trying to pick up this first down, knowing that I think Oak Ridge still has 2 timeouts, if I'm not mistaken. What are you doing here if you're Karns?
Well, they're trying to get a first down, and especially a touchdown. You know, they're not going to give up here before half. 38 seconds is an eternity in football if you can get the right play and get a big play. But the Wildcat defense is going to be very alerted. You know, they're going to throw the ball. I have no doubts in my mind.
They may try to draw off Oak Ridge or off sides because it's 3rd and 4. Again, 38 seconds to go. Oak Ridge just took a timeout, so I think they may have 1 left. Their scoreboard doesn't keep track of that, so going off of my not-so-great memory, I think that's the second one they've called. It'd be interesting to see here, though, assuming Oak Ridge can stop the clock, if they'll be aggressive or if they'll try to make Oak Ridge use that last timeout. Karns back onto the field now. Again, 38 seconds to go here before half. Oak Ridge leading 20-0, 3rd and 4 with the Beavers on their own 30-yard line. 38 seconds to play in the first half, 20-0. Oak Ridge in the lead, trying to go 3-0 on the year. Karns
3rd and 4 at their own 30-yard line. Wildcats stack the line. Now they back up just a bit. Quarterback's going to pass. Quick pass is going to be caught at the 33. That's pretty close to the first down. They're going to officially give him the 35, and that is going to be indeed enough for a Karns first down. I think he got a little bit more generous spot. Well, not as good as I thought. It was at the 34. Karns just can't move the ball quickly enough to get down and score, I don't believe.
No, and they don't really appear to even be in a rush. Now 20 seconds to go. They're not even to the line yet. This is kind of a little bit miscombobulated.
17 seconds to play. It'll be 1st and 10 Karns, the ball at their own 34. Here comes pressure by Bradley. Here's a long pass up for grabs. It's going to be batted down. The Wildcats, Dallas Frent, along with, I guess that's Izzy down there.
It's actually Jarrell. Jarrell and Dallas were the first two to kind of, unfortunately, I think if just one of them had gone up for it, they would have caught it, but both of them tried to high point that ball, which is what they're taught to do as defensive backs, and they just kind of collided. I think if just one of them had gone up, Oak Ridge would have had a shot to intercept that.
And probably take it to the house. We've got 4 seconds to play in the first half, 20-0. Oak Ridge, 2nd down and 10. So just a Hail Mary right here. They don't have but 4 seconds on the clock. Wildcats did all the scoring in the first half. Mike will have the scoring summary. Quarterback's just going to hand it to the running back, and he's going to move the ball forward, but that is going to be the final play, or it should have been. It should have been the final play of the half. Now it is. The clock ticks to 000, and the first half has come to a close. With the exception, Alex, of the 2 turnovers, the Wildcats pretty much did what they wanted to do in the first half. Couple turnovers, one in the end zone, which, the Wildcats had thwarted what was going to be perhaps a scoring drive, and then another one just a moment ago. But for the most part, the Wildcats have dominated the first half.
Yeah, and they've even had some penalties, which is a little bit unlike them, but they've been able to overcome those. Even on some, it looked like they were going to kill the drive. They ended up scoring long pass to Almonte Rimbert because it was 3rd and long because of those penalties. It already negated 1 touchdown on the drive, but they got it back anyways. Definitely not a mistake-free half. Stuff to teach and learn from. Coach Rang's not going to be happy, I'm sure, but Oak Ridge fans are overall when they look up and realize you got a 3-possession lead at half. And interesting, Coach Rang's not electing to take them all the way back across campus, about a quarter mile to their locker room.
Right.
They're going to take them over here on the side of the hill. I think it's probably a smart decision, as hot and humid as it is.
We're at halftime, 20-0 our score. We appreciate Kason Robinson, Josh Frazier, Alex Waraxa, Lee Wexler. And I'm forgetting somebody, I believe. Ben George was down there helping a bit. My name is David Clary, along with Mike Sheehan, Alex Myers, Brian Bennett's back in the studios. It is now time for the Madison Insurance Group halftime show. Our score at halftime, the Wildcats on top of Karns by a score of 20-0. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Mike will have the scoring summary. Mark and Shauna will have statistics. And we're about to hear the Big Blue Band from Beaverland here at Karns High School. 20-0 our score, back in 3 minutes.
I get to go get some water.
Hey, can I give you 3 and you give 1 for each of you and then 1 for the other guys? I only see 2. Well, the others are charging, right? No. I only see 2. Yeah, I only see those 2.
Braves are up 3-0. Braves are up 3-0.
The 2023 edition of the Karns Band is currently 171 members strong, making it the largest competitive marching student organization in Knox County schools. Please welcome to the field the Karns High School Beaver Fighting Marching
What's that?
It's a massive band.
That's why I said the Big Blue Band from Beaver Lane. You don't like that?
No, I do.
We need a running clock.
Sorry.
Hey, Grace, like we're in a coma or something.
Is that camera zoomed out on
Are we good?
Wow. Clinton's up big.
Clinton and Campbell County.
Yeah, 35-14 half.
Welcome back once again to Karns High School. David Clary along with Alex Myers and Mike Sheehan. Wildcats on top 20-0. Mike, you've got the scoring summary.
Thank you, David. Welcome to Karns High School, land of the Beavers. The Oak Ridge got this game started off really well. They had to kick off, and then on the very first play of the game, the pass was intercepted by Brandon Hayward, and they got possession on the Beaver 41-yard line, slowly worked the ball down the field, and then Blaine Stansbury threw a beautiful 7-yard pass to Amani Rembert, and the Wildcats went up 6-0 with 8:42 still left in the first quarter. Then Eli Pearson came in and kicked the ball between the uprights, and the Wildcats led early, 7-6. Then the Wildcats drove again. They got all the way down to about the 20-yard line. Blaine Stansbury attempted another pass, was intercepted by the Karns Beavers with 49 seconds left in the first quarter. The Beavers drove the ball down the field and turned it over on downs. Then, with exactly 53 seconds left in the second quarter, to start the second quarter, DeVaris Dozier ran one in from 8 yards out and put the Wildcats up 13-0. Eli Pearson's kick was good, and the Wildcats led 14-13 early in the second quarter. Then the ball was turned over a couple of times by the Beavers and the Wildcats, and then with 7:45 left, a 53-yard touchdown run by Dozier was called back due to holding. Everybody in the stadium for Oak Ridge was super disappointed, but don't give up. With 7:22 left, about 24 seconds later, Stansbury Blaines threw a beautiful pass to Amani Rembert for a 65-yard score. Very exciting play. Amani did a super job of separating himself from the defender, ran it in for the touchdown. The Wildcats went up 20-0. Then on the extra point, there was a fumble by the snapper, and he couldn't get it down in time, and the extra point was no good. And that leaves us to our halftime, where Oak Ridge leads the Karns Beaver 20-0.
You're listening to the Madison Insurance Group halftime show. Mark and Shauna's stats are coming up in a moment. We're going to take a break, Mark, first before you run that down. 20-0 is our score. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge in the lead. The Karns band performing down on the field in front of this packed house here at Karns on this beautiful night in East Tennessee. We'll take a break. We'll send it back to Brian. We'll be back with Mark's statistics. 20-0 Wildcats back in 3 minutes.
So Really? You should. It's
So we
fun.
walked into Soulcraft.
Filming's fun, dude.
And I texted him and I was like, I'm in Soulcraft and you're not here.
It's so
What's
fun.
up with that? And he was
No,
literally
like that second kick,
in the
the
little
whole like
walked over.
cover was in the way, so it didn't even get shown. I'm starting to figure it out more. I've been tracking it pretty well. There's like if it gets like right there in front of that and then in front of that one, you can't pick up.
Once again, the 2023 Flat Beaver Marching Band.
She does. She's it's one of those deals where we're 4 years into this. Killing this financially. But she loves it. And now that she lives in an apartment, actually, it's like her ACT score was good enough, and her GPA was good enough where it's like $700 a semester. It's cheaper like that, especially with girls. They just don't need it. Yeah. My girls love it.
What's the Clinton score right now? They're winning. Who are they playing again? Who's Clinton playing? Boo.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the trio of the 2023 Oak Ridge High School Marching Band. Sean Hufford, Liz Williams, Alex Andrew, co-artist Emma Madison, and student intern Olivia Watson. Drum majors Elaine Russell and Gianna Sachikano. Tonight, the Wild Band will present their
You can make your own trivia question, but I don't want them to call my phone. Let's see. Let's have them text it. No, let's have them come get it. Almost.
Let's just say this one's in person.
Say this one's in person. What?
How they gonna come get it?
Sorry.
We have a text. Let's say text.
David Clary back here at Karns High School, the Madison Insurance Group halftime show. And now let's go down to Mark Case. He's got the first half statistics.
Thank you very much, David. As you said earlier, Oak Ridge on top at the half by a score of 20-0 over the hosting Karns Beavers. Look at the first half statistics first for Oak Ridge. They're led on the ground by Dozier. He has 80 yards on 6 carries. Blaine Stansberry, 2 carries for 12 yards, and Brandon Hayward, he's carried the ball twice for 9 yards. So as a team, the Wildcats have 101 yards on the ground on 10 carries. Through the air, quarterback tonight for the Wildcats, Blaine Stansberry. He's 9 for 14 for 167 yards. He does have 2 interceptions on the night. Receiving for the Wildcats, they're led by Amani Rimbert. He has 2 receptions for 66 yards. Obviously, one of those was a 65-yard touchdown reception. Brandon Hayward, he has 3 receptions for 51 yards. Vashawn Knowles has a reception for 24 yards. Will Presley has a 9-yard reception. Price Davis also with a 9-yard reception. And Jovis Dozier has an 8-yard reception for the Wildcats. So, as a team, the Wildcats, as I said, they have 101 yards on the ground on 10 carries. They have 167 yards on 9 receptions for a total offense tonight of 268 yards in the first half. Wildcats have gained 9 first downs. They've been penalized 6 times for 50 yards. Now looking at the hosting Karns Beavers, they're led on the ground by number 1, Jason Bourne. He has 18 yards on 13 carries, averaging just 1.4 yards per carry. So the Wildcats doing a great job defensively on him. Number 4, Jay Alsop, he has 2 carries for 8 yards. Deshaun Huckleby has a 2-yard carry, and Carson Paul, the quarterback, has a 2-yard carry as well. So as a team, the Beavers have rushed the ball 17 times, gaining 30 yards on the ground. Through the air, the Beavers are more successful. Carson Paul, as I said, quarterback, he's 8 of 13 for 55 yards. He has 1 interception on the night. Receiving, they're led by Walker Lockhart. He has 2 receptions for 36 yards. Jay Alsop has a 7-yard reception. Matthew Eldridge with a 6-yard reception. Gavin Duke has a 4-yard reception. Deshaun Huckleby, he has 2 receptions for 2 yards. And Jason Bourne has 1 reception, but he was held to no yards. That was a key play for the Wildcats as they stopped the Beavers on 4th down. So as a team, the Beavers have, as I said, 30 yards on the ground on 17 carries. That's an average of 1.8 yards per carry. Through the air, they have 55 yards on 8 receptions for a total offense tonight of 85 yards. Karns has 5 first downs in the first half and 3 penalties for 15 yards. So looking at side by side, each team, Oak Ridge on the ground 101 yards, Karns 30. Oak Ridge through the air 167, Karns 55. Total offense, Oak Ridge with 268 total offensive yards in the first half, Karns 85. First downs, Oak Ridge has 9, Karns 5. Oak Ridge penalties, 6 penalties for 50 yards, Karns 3 penalties for 15 yards. So at the half, Oak Ridge, as I said, on top of the hosting Karns Beavers by a score of 20-0. And I'll send it back to David.
Thanks a lot, Mark. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge on top by a score of 20-0. I know Tommy and Martha Lee are watching us, along with Cheryl Smith, Dave Willey, Mike Baker, and Lynn Calvert watching our stream today. Shout out to them. They were graduated, the latter group graduated in the late 50s, I believe, and Tommy and Martha graduated a little bit later on. Alex, I think we've got a trivia question for our pizza giveaway today.
Well, as you know, David, we're all about local business at Prep Radio and Oak Ridge Sports, and our newest sponsor is Andy's Pizza, located in the Ridgeway Center at 156 Bus Terminal Road. They are locally owned, and everything is made there in the store. Each and every Oak Ridge ball game night, just like tonight, we're going to give away one of their delicious pizzas. Maybe it's to the first caller or by answering a trivia question. If you're at the game or coming to the game, we have it for you up here tonight. Instead of the press box, we're at the Oak Ridge bleachers in the top left section. If you're looking at the field, if you're looking at the bleachers, we're in the top right, opposite of the band. Tonight, all you have to do is answer the question. A free pizza from Andy's Pizza and more in Oak Ridge awaits. You have to be the first person that texts 865-310-7207 with the answer. Tonight's question, in honor of the field we are playing on here at Karns, there has been one interception in Oak Ridge history return longer than 100 yards. It was 104 yards here at Karns just a few years back in 2018. The first person to tell us who intercepted that ball and ran it back for a 104-yard touchdown return gets a free pizza from Andy's and more. Again, text 865-310-7207. 865-310-7207. Let's take a 3-minute break. Actually, David, if I can really quick, a couple scores, then we'll take a 3-minute break. Stay with me here as it looks like at halftime, Clinton is up big on Campbell County, 35-14. West over Maryville, 14-7, as they went ahead late in the second quarter. Cleveland leads Farragut, 22-14, late in the second quarter, and Powell over Heritage big time, 27-10 at the end of the first half. Again, West over Maryville, 14-7 at the half. And then Hardin Valley, 3-0 this year for the first time in years. They're up 10-0 at the half. Halls is up over Hardin Valley, excuse me. The Atlanta Braves, for those that care, many of our listeners do, 7-0 over the Pirates into the fourth, heading to the fifth. Let's take a 3-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll see if they put more time on the clock from Karns High School.
That's what I said, because it was easier to find. And he didn't want to. That's what it is. He was like trying. It was like the no time. He was kind of trying to like, I think trying to kind of fall down, but there was just nobody. Nancy got a completely fine, but it was like it took me so long to get to the house. I was like,
say a special thank you to the Karns High Band, cheerleaders, and dance team for their game day support. Also, thank you to Donato's Pizza and Food City for donating food to our officials and police officers on duty tonight. We are proud to partner with both of these businesses. Also, thanks to Deb's culinary class for supplying food to the press box. Also, we'd like to thank the scoreboard sponsors, Bojangles Oak Ridge Highway, Everything Orthodontics, Pop Ridge Plumbing, Buddy's Barbecue, Mississippi State Community College, 865 Dentist, Stanley Sisk DDS, Whitby Insurance, ORNL Federal Credit Union, Karns Branch, and Southeast Oral Surgery.
There we go. There's no need. Well, they're going to do it. There's no doubt.
Welcome back, and no pun intended, like clockwork, they've put 3 minutes back on the clock. As both teams are out here and ready to go, we're going to wait 3 more minutes. So unfortunately for you all, you have to hear me blabber. We do want to congratulate Carrie Johnson Chartrand, who is the winner of our Andy's Pizza and More giveaway tonight. We're watching on YouTube. Yes, Thomas can come and pick them up. Again, if you're looking at the bleachers, the Oak Ridge bleachers, we are in the top right corner. If you'll wave to us as you come up the bleachers, we can give it to you. Thank you for participating. Thank you for all who answered. We had a couple of people say hello, watching or listening. Nick Suttles, a member of the crew for a long time. He's doing a job right now where he can't be at most of the games, but we appreciate you listening. We miss you, buddy. Bill Zolliger, enjoying the broadcast. We thank you for listening. Bill and Marcia, two of the best people you'll ever meet, and had a big impact on my childhood at helping coach and everything, and a lot of former Wildcats childhood as well. So thank you to Bill and Marcia, also their sons, Bradley Zolliger and Zach Zolliger, tremendous Wildcat players as well. I do want to also give another shout out. The answer to our question, there was a 104-yard interception return here at Karns in 2018. Who took that back? It's none other than one of the greater athletes to come out here the last few years, Oak Ridge's Herbert Booker. I do want to give a shout out to Matthew Swaggart, who also had in 2020 a long interception return for a touchdown against Karns. That was a 90-yard touchdown return. So, funny enough, Mike Sheehan, Herbert Booker has 2 of the top 3 longest interception returns for Oak Ridge. He has a 104-yard one here, which we just talked about, and then a 99-yarder against Farragut. Herbert was a lot of fun to watch, wasn't he?
He certainly was. It's great that I was here for both of those games. He was one of the top performers the Wildcats had for the entire year, and he just outdid himself that night here at Karns. It was extremely excited. The crowd went wild when he got back 4 yards deep in the end zone, and he ran it out. Nobody thought, uh-oh, that's a big mistake. Wrong answer. That young man could make people miss. He was a great runner.
And as we tick to 30 seconds, and now under 30 seconds to go here before theoretically we start things off in the second half. Mike, if you're Oak Ridge, big-time favorites, and you look like it in the first half, far from flawless football, but Oak Ridge clearly the superior team, look to be in control of this one. What do you want to see if you're Coach Rang and this coaching staff offensively and defensively as we start to get into the second half, already ahead by a few touchdowns?
Well, in the Jefferson County game and the Powell game last week, Oak Ridge came out much stronger for whatever reason the second half, and a lot of that has to do with coaching and the players buying into it. We've got some great coaches on this staff. I'm super impressed with these guys, and we've got some really good athletes on this team. They use their head a lot of times. They listen to the coaches. They buy into what you're telling them, and I look for us to come out strong and put this game away pretty quickly here in the third and fourth quarter.
Thank you, Mike. Alex Myers with you now. David Cleary joining us back. First and foremost, Dave, it's great to have you back on the broadcast. A lot of people know this. Some people don't, and they kind of wonder where you are. Dave, you help with the Braves and really should be in Atlanta tonight, but you're able to sometimes sneak away for a night and get a game in, a broadcast in. As that season winds down, you'll be joining us more and more, but certainly great to hear your voice over the airwaves again, and certainly even better when the Wildcats are up.
Almost definitely 20-0. I was talking to Kaysen over here a moment ago. Honestly, though, we probably should be up about 35-0. We've had a couple turnovers, and the penalties have hurt us here. But for the most part, as I said in the first half, we have pretty much dominated this game from start to finish. There's no aspect of this game that we really haven't dominated.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think the phrase is under control. Oak Ridge has not executed flawlessly, but there's never been a moment throughout this game where you felt like Oak Ridge is in danger of really even giving up a touchdown, nonetheless losing this lead.
Most definitely, as the Wildcats will be receiving the second half kickoff. They're down 20-0. Well, what do they have to lose here to do a little trickery?
Well, it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. They've got a heavy set on the left side, and the place kicker is lined up towards that way. Oak Ridge doesn't have their hands unit on.
And here's the kick. It takes a high bounce. It's going to be bounding out of bounds, and it'll be Brendan Hayward there. It'll be Oak Ridge football.
Yeah, he fielded it and just kind of fell out of bounds. Smart play by him. It was probably going to go out of bounds anyways. Theoretically, if he lets that go out of bounds, he probably saves Oak Ridge they're going to mark it right at the 35. I was going to say perhaps it saves him a couple yards, but if they marked it right at the 35, which they did, that tells me it went out of bounds and then Hayward caught it.
We'll set the offensive line here in a second for you. Once again, the Wildcats have it 1st and 10, and they're moving right to left as might have a delay. I don't see delay a game. Might have illegal substitution here in this one. Flag is down on the play.
They had 12 guys on the field before the ball was snapped, which maybe I'm just clueless with the rule here, David, but I don't see how that's a penalty if Oak Ridge hasn't snapped the ball. You've got a chance to get them off the field since they're on defense. If it was the offense and they'd broke the huddle, that's a different story.
First down, 5 yards to go now for the Wildcats. Here comes Dozier moving the ball up the field, 40. He's at the 50. He's at the 40. Down the sideline, spins his way down the Karns sideline. Finally, driven out of bounds at around the 20-yard line. It's a 10-bank of Oak Ridge first down.
Yeah, they just got no answer. DeJavis is clearly just bigger, stronger, faster than anybody they've got out there trying to tackle him. And Almani Rimbert, unfortunately, I hope he's going to be all right. Looks like he's shaken up a little bit, going to ask to be helped off the field or taken off the field for a moment as Izzy Mitchell will come back in. But Dozier, he's kind of quietly, I think he's one of the best running backs Oak Ridge has had in the past few decades.
Most definitely. And, he played behind some really good backs, Kendall Jackson, Jai Hunley. He played behind, finally getting his chance to be the guy this year. 1st and 10, Oak Ridge at the Karns 23. Blaine Stansbury to pass. Pass is caught. And moving the ball to around the 17-yard line, Izzy Mitchell on the catch for the Wildcats. Early on, you might remember last year, Izzy was one of the main targets.
That Bearden game.
Yes, and then really just kind of settled in mainly on defense. First catch of the night for him, I believe.
And it just goes to show you the depth. Amani Rembert's one of the best playmakers this team has. He goes off, and the guy who comes in makes an immediate play.
2nd down and 4 yards to go for the Wildcats. Pass out of the backfield. Hayward, 5-yard line. He's going to go to the 3-yard line. He's going to go to the 2. Fumbles at the goal line, but it'll be 1st and goal, Oak Ridge. Brandon Hayward just kept spinning and spinning. And one of the differences this year, they are targeting Brandon Hayward much more than they've done the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and it's weird, Dave. They managed to target him more while still spreading the ball around and getting everybody else involved more. And it's kind of weird how that happens. But, they're finding other ways besides just throwing the ball. They've given him a little sweep across, hand off a couple of times. They're just being creative and making sure they give this guy opportunities.
1st down, goal to go. The ball is at the 2-yard line. The Wildcats trying to score again. Stansbury rolls to his right, looks to the end zone, fires it there, and he almost throws another interception. That is just not a throw he needs to throw. He needs to either throw it out of bounds or throw it to the very, very back. And they've got it once again.
Yeah, it's just a bad interception there from Blaine, and I saw what he's trying to do, but unfortunately it was the same little zag route where the wide receiver Hayward that time cut inside like he was going to cut like a little in route, and then he plants that inside foot, cuts back out. They scored on it with Rembert on the other side earlier. That time Karns had it read perfectly. It just simply wasn't there. Hayward made an adjustment and cut backwards towards the back of the end zone. There's a chance it would have had to have been a perfect ball, but if you're going to throw that one, you've got to throw it high and long so that if it's not completed to Hayward, nobody can catch it. Just a young mistake that time. He's probably, I think, like you said, got to eat that one.
Kind of surprised I just didn't run it in, honestly, but it'll be 1st down, 10 yards to go for Karns. The ball is at the 20-yard line. Beavers down 20-0. Handoff to the running back, and he is driven out of bounds after a gain of about 2, maybe 3 yards on the play. We're in the 3rd quarter, live here at Karns on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, and on the voice of the Oak Ridge Wildcats, FM 92.7, FM 94.7. We're on Channel 15. We're also on PrepRadio.com. On that play, it was a gain of 3. 2nd down, 7 yards to go. 10 minutes to play in the 3rd period here at Karns High School. Beautiful night for football. Very cool temperatures, pleasant, biggest crowd we've seen here at Karns. We've talked about that several times. 2nd down, 7. They're moving left to right. If you're listening to us on the radio, Karns wearing their blue jerseys, white pants. Handoff to the back, and he is tackled at the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 5 yards to go for Karns.
Yeah, this Karns team, they just don't have a lot of pop in the backfield, whether it's their fullbacks, their tailback. They don't have anybody that really scares you, that you feel like if they get a hole, they can take it the distance. Yeah, they could pick up a few yards, but they just don't have anybody with enough pop and burst to really scare you and be a big-time threat, I don't think, and not that I've seen. Dave, after this play, I do have a question for you regarding Karns that I don't know, and maybe it's hard to stump you on these questions, so I'll ask after this play. 3rd down here.
3rd down, 5 yards to go. Quarterback back to pass. Pressured, fires a pass. It's high. Oh, nice catch. That's a 1st down. As they move the ball to the 40-yard line, he just went up and grabbed it, almost like a T. Higgins, who just went above the Oak Ridge defensive backs, pulled it down. 1st and 10 Karns.
Yeah, big play. I mean, he's a guy that would get on the field for Oak Ridge and most high schools around this area. He's just a big, strong, rangy receiver. Had a couple big plays downfield is all they've really had all night, and he's made both of them. Dave, question though, I don't see any signage here what the name of the field, what the name of the stadium is. Do you know? It's just.
I honestly don't. I don't know.
Because you said at Karns earlier, and I thought you were going to say the stadium, and then I started looking around, and I don't. It's weird that you don't see any signage for any name of it.
Most definitely. They might have said it at the start of the broadcast on the PA system, but I do not know, honestly, and I've been here a bazillion times.
I stumped you. You would not have won Andy's Pizza.
1st down, 10 yards to go for Karns. Let's set the defensive unit for the Wildcats on this after this first down play. 1st and 10 at the 42. Number 1 gets the handoff, and he has good yardage. He moves the ball to the 45 up to around the 47.
Defensive line, you've got Elijah Bradley, Tim Walters, and T-Ray Threat. At the linebacker position, you've got Knowles, Dorsey, Gormley, and Davis. And then in the defensive backfield, you've got Brandon Hayward, Izzy Mitchell, Dallas Frent, and Valen Henderson.
Gain of 4 on the play. 2nd down, 6 yards to go. 8:19 to play. We're in the third quarter. The Wildcats on top, 20-0, trying to go 3-0 on the season. This is their first region ball game. They'll play McMinn County down in Athens next week. We'll have the broadcast beginning at 6:30 with our pregame show and the kickoff at 7. 2nd down, 6. They're going to pass. Rolls to his right, fires it across the way. Pass is caught again. Big hit by the Wildcats, Price Davis, but not before they pick up another Karns first down.
And one thing I've seen from this Karns quarterback is he looks very, very comfortable rolling out in the pocket, from the pocket, getting on the run and then throwing, and almost every time it's been successful, he's rolled to his right. Now they're at the short side of the field. It's a little harder to do, but when they're on the left hash, you got to be aware, if you're an Oak Ridge defender, that they want to roll him out to the right, the strong side of the field, get him moving and get him to throw a 5-10 yard pass as they did right there, get him out in space. He looks very, very comfortable.
1st and 10 now, the ball on the other side of the 50 at the Oak Ridge 44. They'll split out big number 6 off to the left, number 11 here to the right. They'll have a slot to the left and the right. They have one lone running back. 1st and 10 for the Beavers, moving left to right, trailing 20-0. Hand off to the running back, and they've really struggled to run the ball all night long against the Wildcats. They continue to try the interior part. Might have gotten a couple there, but not much more than that.
No, they're just, man, I just mentioned they don't really have a lot of pop in the backfield is kind of the best way I can say that. No matter, and they've tried a bunch of different guys, but I'll say this, Oak Ridge's defensive line, those interior guys up front have done a pretty good job of, there hasn't been a lot of wide open holes for them to get ahead of speed, but the backfield just doesn't appear to have a lot of game breakers, if you get what I'm saying here, David.
I do. 2nd down, 9 yards to go. Ball now at the 43 of Oak Ridge. They have 3 receivers to the left, to the right, at 1 on the Oak Ridge near sideline. He's going to pass, a little quick throw is going to be caught, and then a big hit. Well, the Wildcats, good coverage there that time by Valen Henderson. Big hit on the receiver. Not a whole lot of yardage there. In fact, they might have even lost a yard or two.
The official's talking to Vashon Knowles, who was rushing the quarterback. I think he jumped over the running back who came out to block him out of the backfield. I think Vashon Knowles just jumped over the blocker, and now there's a flag on the Oak Ridge sideline. It's going to be a warning, so they won't be assessed any yardage, but the next time they will.
So for Karns, it'll be 3rd down, a long 7 to go, 6:21 to play, third quarter, 20-0. Oak Ridge in the lead. The Wildcat defense trying to pitch a shutout here. Karns trying to move the ball. They've really struggled to move the ball. The Wildcats, 3 turnovers in the ball game, have definitely slowed their point total down for sure. Let's see what Karns can do. 3rd down, 7. Once again, they're in Oak Ridge territory at the 41-yard line. From the shotgun, handoff to number 29, breaks to the outside, and he is tackled on a nice tackle by the Wildcats. Just took out his legs. Great play by the Wildcats. I think that was Dallas Frent.
It was, and I was watching him from the start of that play. He was showing like he was going to maybe kind of stay in the box, and then he backed up last second to give his cornerman on the far side, Price Davis, a little help over the top. As soon as his eyes never left the backfield, David, he came back as soon as he recognized it was a run. He came up, and there was zero hesitation. He plays just like Izzy and Price do. They play fearlessly, and I love it.
So it's now 4th down, 6 yards to go. The Wildcats having to substitute once again. Karns desperately needs a first down. The clock is moving. 6 minutes to play in this third quarter. Oak Ridge in the lead, 20-0. It's 4th down, 6 yards to go at the Wildcat 40. Oak Ridge fans trying to cheer the defense on for yet another stop. Quarterback straight drop. Pressured, goes deep. High pass, arcing pass. It's going to be incomplete. Good coverage down there. That one was high, too high. Izzy Mitchell defending for the Wildcats, and Oak Ridge will take over on downs.
Izzy almost made a Willie Mays type of over-the-shoulder catch running downfield, but it's fortunate for the Wildcats, he didn't. I don't know if he meant to drop that or not, but it's a good thing he didn't, because if he'd have caught that, it would have been an incredible play, but Oak Ridge would have had the ball at about the 3-yard line. Instead, they saved themselves nearly 40 yards, as Mike, you mentioned, and they take over on the 40-yard line instead.
So this is the first of 5 consecutive road games for the Wildcats, which we've talked about a lot. Next week, McMinn County. Wildcats will be. Here comes Blaine Stansbury. Actually, it's running to his left, moves the ball forward. That time did not throw the ball, ran the ball.
He did, and I actually was thinking right before that snap, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think Oak Ridge is probably getting ready to take a deep shot here in a second. For the first time I've really noticed all game, Karns just right then starts playing up on our receivers. They've been afraid of getting beat over the top, but now all of a sudden they're starting to press Oak Ridge. I think they'll take a shot here in a minute.
2nd 8. Here comes Jarvis Dozier cutting it back inside. He's got a 10 bank of Oak Ridge first down. Moves the ball across midfield. He's tackled at the 48-yard line of Karns. 1st and 10 Wildcats. The Jarvis Dozier, they can run the ball all night on these guys. And you know, they don't even have to throw the ball. I know Coach Rang loves to put it in the air. When you got a horse like that, I say just let him go.
Yeah, and I think some of the crowd, you probably heard over the microphones, some people in the crowd were kind of asking that same question at the end of last drive. Why didn't you run the ball? And you know, I think it's probably a good point. Of course, it's easy to say that after the fact, but yeah, when you got a horse like him. But I still think Oak Ridge is going to try something deep here momentarily.
First down, 10 yards to go. A little quick pass out of the backfield. It's caught by Hayward. Hayward at the 30. Cuts inside and slowed down right at the 28-yard line. Another 10 bank of Oak Ridge first down. And once again, Brandon Hayward on the reception.
And I don't know, he hasn't scored tonight, but Hayward's got to be over 100 yards receiving, I would think, fairly easily. He has had a big, big night. I want to shout out to the offensive line as well. They've played well tonight up front. It's Jared Bafford, Elijah Young, Malachi Bonner, Kanan Hickson, and Ethan Eubanks.
Yeah, that's one thing. We don't get those offensive linemen on there enough. And they you know, Mike will tell you this, they don't get a lot of credit, but they are the reason why we do so well offensively. And any skill guy will tell you that. 1st and 10 Wildcats. Once again, Blaine's going to roll, look into the end zone. No place to go. Now will go down. Just never really could get going. He's dropped for a loss of about 3.
Yeah, and you know, it's tough. Blaine, I almost think they're trying to work on something offensively, because we haven't seen that a bunch this year, really, where he's rolling to his left that I can remember. But repeatedly this drive, they're rolling him out to the left. I don't know if they saw something in the press box and they talked about it at halftime, or if they're just trying to work on something, but it's interesting.
3 minutes, 32 seconds and counting in the third quarter, 2nd and 12. Stansbury back to pass, sets up a screen, pass is caught. Down the field, Dozier. Dozier is pushed out of bounds at around the 12-yard line, and it'll be another 10 bank of Oak Ridge first down. You know, just give the ball to the big number 22, third team. We got a lot of skill guys. That's another first down.
Yeah, there's just, you know, I kept talking about going deep earlier, and I think Oak Ridge can do it, and I think they will at some point. But to be honest with you, this is not a team athletically, defensively that you have to do that on. I mean, pretty much any skill player right now that's getting the ball on the edge, if they got a little bit of space, they're able to make that first guy. Most of the time, the second guy miss.
Valen Henderson, Will Presley will be receivers to the right. Brandon Hayward, Almani Rembert to the left. One lone running back, that's the Jarvis Dozier. First down 10, the ball at the Karns 11. 20-0 our score. Dozier gets the call. Dozier has 6 points. Touchdown, Oak Ridge. The Wildcats did what the fans called for, handed it to big number 22, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown for the Wildcats.
Give it to 22. Football can have a lot of complexities, but at the end of the day, it's about blocking, tackling, and getting the ball in the end zone. And if you get it near number 22 with the way the offensive line's playing tonight, it ain't that hard to get the ball in the end zone. And Oak Ridge, learning from the last drive when they tried to air it out a little bit, this time they said, you know what, let's dance with the girl who got you here, and Dozier gets him in the end zone.
Eli Pearson's extra point is good, and the Wildcats lead it with 3:11 to play in the third quarter. The Karns Beavers trailing Oak Ridge 27-0, and we'll be back with a Wildcat kickoff in 60 seconds. Thanks a lot. We are live here at Karns High School. The Wildcats getting set to kick off. My name is David Clary, along with Alex Myers and Mike Sheehan. Casey Robinson's up here with us. Down on the field, we have Waraxa, Wexler, and Frazier. Brian Bennett back in the studios. 27-0 Oak Ridge. Here's the kick by Pearson. Just when he hits it really well, it's going to be a touchback, and that's in the end zone. And it'll be 1st and 10 Karns.
Yeah, if your Karns here down 27-0, unlikely to, kind of everybody can kind of read the room here and realize this one's just really not in danger of Karns coming back. And so if you're Karns, you're staring down the barrel of an 0-4 start, but you've done some positive things in this game. I think at this point you're not trying to get a 27-point play, right? That doesn't exist. So I think, to me, if I'm Karns and I'm a Beaver fan, I want to see this team try to put together a sustained drive that ends in points. They've had a few good drives, but they haven't been able to close those drives out. And I think if you're Oak Ridge, obviously, you got a shutout going. Modern-day football, as many rule tweaks as there are to help the offense, shutouts are rare. You'd love to get this one.
Marshall McConaughey is in the ballgame now for the Wildcats in the secondary. Good to see. I think he's a senior getting a chance to play. And play is halted. Do we have a violation of the clock once again?
We have a game clock or a play clock violation. It hit zeros, but their scoreboard also went off momentarily, but they can't use that as an excuse because just like at Blankenship Field, the play clock is separate from the score clock, and it did not go off. It just simply went to zero.
So it's 1st and 15 at the Karns 15-yard line, 3:11 to play, third quarter, 27-0. The Wildcats in the lead. Running back, he breaks in the secondary this time. He's got big yardage. The Wildcats are going to need to make the stop. It's going to be McConaughey. We might even have a face mask as all the way to around the 40-yard line, but there is a flag. We might have a face mask.
I think we do, and I don't know in high school, is everything 15 yards? There's no 5-yard. Okay, so it's going to be 15 yards. I think if this was the pros, that would be a 5-yard, right? Because it wasn't an egregious play. It wasn't like he gripped it and ripped it. He just kind of, his hands was up there around the top of his face mask, his helmet area. So it's unfortunate. And, hey, I said if you're Karns, you want a sustained drive. Well, hey, you'll take a quick drive if you can get it. So now Oak Ridge, as they've done so many times this season, they may surrender some yards, but they tend to bow their necks a little bit as they get in here near the red zone. Ball at the 25-yard line. Let's see if they can make another stop here down or up 27-0. 2:52 to go in this third quarter.
Brantley Taylor's in the ball game, playing a little linebacker now for the Wildcats. First down, 10 yards to go. The ball at the 25-yard line. 2:45 to play. Third quarter, 27-0. Tight formation, one lone receiver, handoff to the running back again. He bounces off the first tackle, moves the ball forward, and then there comes a flag in the middle of the play. Let's see what they're going to call this time.
Came in from the guy back in the secondary, the official, which a lot of times could be a hold because they kind of have a view down the field. Let's see.
There was nothing but
it's going to be a face mask against Oak Ridge. Wow. You don't see face mask called when they're in there tight like that. Most of the time, they don't really call that.
And the guy who called it was the farthest away guy.
He was the same guy who called the face mask a moment ago, and he was adamant. He threw that flag further than Karns has hardly thrown a ball all game.
So, as the Oak Ridge fans not happy, they move the ball, and Karns knocking on the door here with 2:28 to play. The Wildcats have been penalized too many times in this one. And 3 turnovers also have hurt him. It'll be 1st and 10. Beavers at the 13-yard line. Handoff. There's a big stick right at the line. I see no flags as of yet. Ball carrier is still trying to move. The whistle finally blows. The Wildcats coached by Derek Rang, assisted by David Hawkins, Rusty Parton, Ted Mitchell, James Branson, Kevin Day, Zach Kasner, Vontae Henderson, Eric Thomas, along with Bam Thomas, Ricky Chipwood, Mike Kelly. We don't get those guys in enough.
No, you're right. And as much credit and praises Coach Rang deserves for the great job he's done early in this season, he would be the first to tell you, I'm sure, he could not do it without a great staff.
Second down, 9 yards to go. The ball at the Oak Ridge 11. Here's the handoff once again. Once again, nothing going there. They kind of stacked that middle. He might have gotten a yard. The pile moved forward for a gain of maybe, like I said, 1 yard. It'll be third down and 8 yards to go, I believe.
And not needing a ton of yardage here, right? And things are kind of crunched up, and you don't want to throw it over the middle probably. In all reality right here, what I'm thinking, they're going to change it to 3rd and 6. Ball is in the middle of the field, got plenty of room to the right. I would not be surprised if they don't do some drag routes, do something to get this quarterback running from his left to his right. He's been very comfortable out of the pocket, rolling to his right, throwing.
3rd and 6, as Alex said, exactly 1 minute to play third quarter. Quarterback rolls to his right, throws it into the end zone, passes incomplete. I see no flag. In the corner, there was a lot of white shirts around. Izzy Mitchell once again defending for the Wildcats. Is 4th and 6.
And that's a lot of credit to Izzy, because we talk about how many times he comes up every game. He's so consistent as a tackler. But that time, he climbed the ladder and used his athleticism, jumped up way high against a much, much taller receiver. Wasn't a bad throw by the quarterback. He threw it way up high for giving his big guy a chance to get it. But Izzy just climbed the ladder and jumped up and swatted that one down. 4th and 6. And looks like Karns is going to play to not get shut out here, as they're going to bring the field goal unit on.
Yeah, with 54 seconds to play, they'll go for a short field goal. It is 4th and 6. The ball is at the Oak Ridge 8-yard line. A very short kick for the Karns Beavers. Helicopter flying above us. Whistles blow and play is halted. We might have another violation of the clock, and it is indeed delay of game. Helicopters have been all around this place tonight.
Yeah, as well as helicopters. Oh, you said the clock operators. I thought you said helicopters. I thought you said clock operators. Both statements would be true. Yeah, but I mean, this is a kicker who, that was not one that kick, even though they blew it before the snap, they did go ahead and snap it. He was not in danger. He's got enough leg to get this, even with that penalty.
30-yard field goal attempt here, 50 seconds to play. The ball is down. Lots of pressure is blocked. The Wildcats block the kick. Oak Ridge stops the Karns Beavers. Was it Izzy once again?
It was Izzy or Vashon. Both were back in the backfield. One of them or both of them got a hand on it. It doesn't matter who it was. All that matters is the Wildcats block it, and the shutout is intact.
And the Oak Ridge offense will come back out on the field. 42 seconds to play third quarter. Big play. Oak Ridge Wildcat defense. 42 seconds, 27-0. Oak Ridge in the lead.
Shauna says it was number 8, which would be Izzy Mitchell. We'll credit Izzy. Great job coming off the edge that time.
Blaine Stansberry at quarterback for the Wildcats. First down, 10 yards to go. The ball at the 20-yard line. They're moving right to left. Blaine's going to pass. It's caught. Down the field will come Will Presley. Will Presley has the sideline. Stutter steps his way for a 10 bank of Oak Ridge first down. Right at around the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 Wildcats. 33 seconds to play third quarter.
One of the things I love about Will, obviously I love big, tall, rangy receivers that can make plays, but you think of guys that look like Will as being deep threats, which he is. But he is also a guy who, if you get him the ball, he gets up to speed like a guy who's several inches shorter than him. He moves like a little guy, but boy, he can pick him up and put him down.
1st and 10, Stansberry rolls and fires. Pass is going to be dropped. It's incomplete. He tried to make a cut inside before he actually had the ball. Valen Henderson was the intended receiver, the freshman. Can't hold on to it. It's 2nd and 10.
Can you talk a little bit about Valen? Because he hasn't made a ton of plays offensively, but he's out there, and you've heard a lot about him coming up before the season started. He's a guy, great size and speed as a freshman. After this play, I'd love for you to touch on what he brings to the table.
2nd down, 10 yards to go. Here comes Dozier to the sideline. Down the field he goes. Moves for a 10 back of Oak Ridge first down into Karns territory across the 45. He's tackled at the 42. 1st and 10 Wildcats. 27-0 our score. Valen Henderson, he is the son of Onse Henderson, and he has already had some offers from some big-time college programs. He's a tall, lanky guy. He's very athletic, really good basketball player as well. You're going to see him on the court. He's got a lot of upside to him. I think that's the best part about Valen as the third quarter comes to a close. Our score, going into the 4th and final quarter here at Karns High School. Oak Ridge on top, 27-0. We'll be back with the 4th and final quarter in 60 seconds. The Oak Ridge Wild Band playing down in front of us here. The Oak Ridge Wildcat football team getting set for a 1st and 10. Ball is at the 41-yard line of Karns. Opening play of the fourth quarter, leading 27-0 over the Karns Beavers, trying to go 3-0 on the year. Stansberry has all day, fires one across the way. Pass is going to be caught. Brandon Hayward, 5 into the end zone. Brandon's got 6 points. Touchdown for the senior, Brandon Hayward, in the score, and the Wildcats lead it now 33-0 over Karns.
He's been knocking at the door, and finally he decided, I'll just bust this thing wide open. He did so. Great pass, great catch, and really, Dave, he caught the ball about 20 yards before the end zone, and there was nobody that even came close to touching him. Brandon showing off the speed that time as Oak Ridge goes up 33-0 with the extra point on the way.
11:50 to play in the ball game here at Karns. Adam Washington to hold. The kick is on its way. It's up, and it's good. 34-0. Oak Ridge over the Karns Beavers. We are live here at Karns High School on FM 92.7, FM 94.7. My name is David Clary, along with Alex Myers, Mike Sheehan, Kason Robinson, Alex Waraxa, Brian Bennett back at the station, Lee Wexler, along with Josh Frazier. Oak Ridge at McMinn County next week. Right now, the Wildcats trying to go 3-0 on the year, 1-0 in the region. They lead it 34-0. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back to Karns in 30 seconds. What's that?
And they pitch a shutout.
They will. Well, maybe.
Remember the
Eli Pearson to kick off yet another time for the Wildcats. 34-0 is our score. He hits it well, end over end, fielded inside the 5 to the 10. This time more towards the center. Oh, knocked down hard. Wildcats Bashawn Knowles. I tell you, Bashawn Knowles, I mean, he's the first Wildcat. This will be a trivia question. Mike and I probably won't be alive, but in about 30 years, people will ask, who was the first Oak Ridge player to wear number 0, and that'll be Bashawn Knowles. They just made that legal recently, and he is not a 0. He is definitely a 10 in the way he plays.
Well, and he maybe it stands for this is what you're going to get when I'm coming up to tackle you, because they don't break tackles from Bashawn Knowles. You go nowhere. Matter of fact, you go backwards, and you do so quickly when he hits you.
You know, I spent a lot of time with Bashawn in basketball and baseball season. He is a great kid, too, just super kid. Karns on offense, 1st and 10. The ball at the 20-yard line. They ran off to the back, and oh, boy, they just cannot run the ball. You got to credit Oak Ridge's defense, but they, like you said earlier, they just don't have those skill guys to just bust it. We're so used to seeing Deshaun Bishop just, bust through and gets big yardage. They just don't have that guy anymore, and of course, he's special anyway.
It's interesting to me because Karns in basketball, and usually in football, even if the team is not, there's not a lot of depth, they always seem to have 2 or 3 just really kind of athletes that jump off the page, and it just doesn't look like that's the case tonight.
2nd down, 5 yards to go. It looks like we got Gerlach in there for the Wildcats. We'll check some of those other numbers that are getting a chance to play. 2nd and 5. Running back this time does find some hole, fumbles the ball. Ball's loose and picked up, I think, by the Wildcats momentarily. And who's got it? I think those guys in Cardinal and Gray come up with it.
TJ Hibben. I don't know who made the initial hit, but TJ was falling on the ball. He didn't try to pick it up and run it. Made a great diving play. He's usually in the game. We call his name as a snapper, a very important position. Now he's going to get a little bit more notoriety making that play.
I tell you, on Monday night in the junior varsity ball game, he made a stop on a 2-point conversion, which gave Oak Ridge a 14-13 win at the buzzer in overtime.
You got to like seeing that translate just 4 days later. Now he's playing on Friday nights, and he's continuing to make plays again. I had him in summer camp, David. I always got to give a shout-out.
It is 34-0. The Wildcats in the lead. 9.5 minutes to play. Quick pass from Parker Free is complete. Moving the ball up the field, making a cut across the way. Moving the ball for a 10 back of Oak Ridge first down. Wildcats with the freshman, Parker Free, in the ball game, and the Wildcats have it 1st and 10.
Yeah, Price Davis, again, another guy kind of like Izzy Mitchell that we've seen in the past, make a lot of plays at the wideout position, but they've played a little more consistently on the defensive side, and I don't know how many more times we'll see Price Davis and Brandon Hayward in the ball game as they both check out.
Riker Arms is the running back for the Wildcats. Parker from the shotgun, 1st and 10. He's going to hand it off to Riker. Riker to the outside. Riker lowers his shoulder, moves the ball forward for a nice gain. Nice run by the sophomore. He had the winning touchdown in the overtime period against Powell on Monday. Riker's got a lot of speed, kind of shifty back, and another fine run. The Wildcats knocking on the door once again.
And Parker Free, you and I were talking about him on the drive over here. He's not a very big guy, just a freshman, but he's got a really good arm, you were telling me, David.
Yes, he does. He'll probably start on the baseball team this year as a freshman. Of course, not because his dad is the head coach. Seriously, he's earned it. He's a really fine baseball player.
I work with his younger brother on a basketball team, sort of a pseudo AAU team for a fall league. And Coach Free, Parker, I'm sure, his younger brother, they all think like coaches. They're very headsy players.
It's 2nd and 1. Here's a pass that's going to be caught, and he's going to cut to the outside, going to be slung down hard after the reception. And that's Price Davis once again. We're down to 7:45 to play in the ball game. The Wildcats in the lead 34-0. If you take away the turnovers and the penalties, the Wildcats have played just a great football game. I mean, they've just taken Karns to the woodshed for the most part, and the only reason it's close really is because of those turnovers.
Malik Howard and Adam Washington in there for the Wildcats now. They've played a little bit on defense, now getting some time on offense, and there's going to be a stoppage momentarily. Somebody's pointing at the back of the end zone. I don't know what's going on. Clock seems to be working, although it's currently running before they clock it. But here we go, David.
Big Ethan Eubanks on the right side of the line. Let's see if he blocks for Riker here to get him in the end zone. They call it a first down, a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down. They're going to hand it off to Riker. Riker, I believe, slithers his way to the goal line, not quite in. It'll be for the Wildcats 2nd down.
Yeah, they get him down to about the 3-yard line, and it looks like from here, because our angle is so poor, we're so low, it's when they get on either goal line, David, it's hard to tell if they're at the 5 or the 1 or the 10. It's hard. I think they spotted them at the 2.
Right. It'll be Oak Ridge. Parker Free at quarterback, 6:27 to play in the game. Parker gets the snap, hands it off to his back, and he is in the end zone. That is a touchdown for Oak Ridge. Riker Arms in the end zone with 6 minutes and 16 seconds to play in the ball game, and Oak Ridge leads the Beavers 40-0.
And I love what I saw from Riker Arms. We know he has the speed. We know he can make a miss. That's a cat hungry for perhaps his first varsity touchdown. Instead of just putting his plant foot in and cutting like he's fully capable of doing and walking into the end zone, he sought out the defender and lowered his shoulder to go across the goal line. He wanted that touchdown, and he wanted the contact.
And the Wildcats will go for the extra point. It is Frankie Ortez. His ball is up. The kick is good. Frankie drills it, and the Wildcats lead it now by a score of 41-0 with 6 minutes and 14 seconds to play. Frankie hits the extra point.
That's awesome to see. I mean, we know how good our special teams are, but to see, we think about getting some backup linemen, backup skill players in the game. But get a backup kicker, you don't see that as often, and I love that. Nobody happier besides him and his parents than Mike Kelly right now, the kicking coach.
Let me tell you about Frankie. Frankie, when I first saw him, I guess as a freshman, I think he's a junior now, he could hardly get the ball over the line of scrimmage. He has gotten better and better every single year, and he didn't hit that incredibly well, but he has hit some kicks, and he's one of the most improved players on the team.
He's done more than I've done as an Oak Ridge Wildcat. You know why, David? Forever, no matter what happens from here on out, he's in the record books. He's got a point, and it doesn't have to be pretty, right? It was a point, and congratulations, Mr. Frankie, as you get your first point as a Wildcat. That's awesome to see.
Yeah, Lori Niemeyer hit a kick one time, the first and only female to ever score. That's a trivia question, and she might have gotten the kick, Alex,
but Nick L. Ray Suttles got the chicken.
Most definitely. It'll be Oak Ridge to kick off. It'll be Eli Pearson to kick off. We'll tell that story maybe when we get a chance here. 6:14 to play, 41-0. The Wildcats, yet another victory over the Karns Beavers.
Another one.
Oak Ridge, Pearson to kick off. The Beavers looking at an 0-4 start. The Wildcats looking at a 3-0 start, and we're headed down to play McMinn County. You remember last year's McMinn County game as Eli kicks off yet another time, another driving kick, and that'll be a touchback into the end zone. Remember, they went for a field goal there at the end of the game. It was blocked, and Oak Ridge beat McMinn County in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's going to be a one that's talked about not just between us, between friends, between football players. This is going to be talked about amongst the media, amongst people in both of these communities, because there's some I don't want to say there's bad blood, but it hasn't all. Things tend to get chippy when you go down to McMinn County, and I'll say that putting it lightly.
Most definitely,
and I would say that I would expect nothing less, knowing how the outcome and how last one and the stakes that were in play last game. I would expect nothing less next week.
And the rivalry dates all the way back to the 40s. I mean, it's a long-standing rivalry. Quarterback hands it off to the running back, and he's got running room. Cuts to the outside towards the Karns sideline, and out of bounds he goes. We got a running clock here. 5:18 to play. Karns just trying to get on the scoreboard and get a little dignity here.
I hope, going back to McMinn County, and I haven't done it the last 2 or 3 times that I've seen, I hope they have the horse out there. And that's a really cool tradition. It's kind of similar to Florida State, but it's really cool to see in person. I hope they do it.
Last few times we've gone down there, they have not done it. But I know Riverdale High School still does the Native American coming out, and they put a spear like Florida State. But the last few years, we have not seen the horse at McMinn County. Second down, 8 yards to go from the 22-yard line. There's another run and another group of Wildcats pushing back. Let's check some of these numbers here. I love to get all these people. I know we got grandparents all over the country watching.
Well, I do want to say one number. A happy birthday to Price Davis, as the student section was singing happy birthday to him. I think he's turned 17 today, so happy birthday, Price.
Brantley Taylor's coming out of the ball game. Grab some of these other numbers here. I don't want to shortchange anybody.
David Jenkins, the 6-foot, 190-pound senior, is into the ball game for Oak Ridge, along with Marshall McConaughey, another 6-foot, 150-pound senior at defensive back.
Third down, 7 yards to go, 4:06 to play, 41-0 Oak Ridge. Quarterback's going to roll, looks in the flats, blown coverage there, nobody got him. Boom! Knox hit, popped him, but not before he picked up a first down. Nobody really accounted for the guy coming out of the backfield in the flats. It'll be a first down.
Big play by Gary Carlisle III. Also in there, it's Kyvez Williams. Frankie Otiza, how do you say that last name that made the extra point? Is it Otiza? We want to make sure, with Mike getting ready for his scoring recap, we want to make sure we give him proper credit. Otiza. Yeah.
First down, 10 yards to go for the Beavers. We're down to 3.5 minutes to play. We've enjoyed our broadcast here. We appreciate all of our sponsors. We've had another touchdown sponsored by the class of 1989 at Oak Ridge High School. Here comes the back, running to the right towards the Karns sideline, cuts back inside, but runs right into a wall of Wildcats. Have you seen the new podium out there, bought by the class of 1980, the pavilion?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Class
I think
of
they've
1989.
had some musicians up there, kind of giving the pregame tailgates with those folks a little extra kick. Great to see that. Also out there right now, Tyree Porter. In on that last tackle was Nate Stevens. And also, it looks like Big 57 Jesse Burgess, the 6'2", 210-pound senior defensive end, is in there as well.
2 minutes, 42 seconds and counting. 41-0. Alex will go down on the field for post-game interviews coming up in a bit. Karns wants to pass. They're going to go deep. Way overthrown. Incomplete.
Defending back there was number 88. For the Wildcats, that is Trenton Javins. Adam Washington in there again. A couple other players that I see, maybe for the first time this year. Dominic Fields, a junior at linebacker for Oak Ridge. And looks like Big 65 as well, and that is Sidney Stokes, 6'4".
Always good to see Big Sidney in the ball game. It'll be third down, 10 yards to go, 1:58 to play in the ball game. Been all Oak Ridge, 41-0. Low snap, handoff to the back cuts to the outside. He's got some running room. He's got a first down. He runs out of bounds. Kind of pushed out just a bit by Adam Washington, but not before he picks up a first down.
And nice to see Adam Washington hold up there. You don't want to get a silly penalty here late in the game when they're not really threatening to score, and if you give them a little momentum, you'd hate to lose a shutout on a penalty. So really smart play by Adam Washington. Another just genuinely really good kid.
Appreciate all of our sponsors. We still have a few commercial breaks to get in. Brian will try to do that for you. Minute 20 to play in the ball game. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Karns Beavers. Once again, quarterback rolls to his right, fires a pass, caught. Not a whole lot of yardage. In fact, might have lost a yard on the play, and we're down to a minute to play here.
Gary Carlisle III, the nearest defender there for the Wildcats. And Davis, I'll head down to the field now. I'm going to steal your radio so that way I can hear what you guys are talking about.
Most definitely. We're down to 49 seconds to play. We appreciate all of you watching our broadcast. You can watch all of the ball games archived on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Go and subscribe to us, and you'll be notified every time we go on live. It'll be 2nd and 10. Quarterback hands it to the back, running towards the Karns sideline, and he's going to be driven out of bounds. We're under 30 seconds to play. Mike, let's get you over here. It's always good to have the Englishman with us here. Mike, good win for the Wildcats tonight.
Oh, man, this has been a great game. And in one of the most beautiful nights that we've had for football this year, obviously. The weather's just been super. It started out warm. Right now, it's perfect out here. And you couldn't ask for a nicer crowd than this.
I don't think Karns is going to get another playoff here. They're down to 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. The ball game is over right now. They did not get a playoff, and the Wildcats have won by a final score of 41-0 over the Karns Beavers. So the Wildcats go to 3-0 on the year. They're 1-0 in the region. Karns falls to 0-4. They're 0-1 in region play. The two teams shaking hands at midfield. As Alex and I were talking about, Mike, the Wildcats pretty much did what they wanted to do tonight. Too many turnovers and some penalties that hurt the Wildcats' cause, but for the most part, they totally dominated Karns tonight.
Oh, they absolutely did. You know, they got a lot of things done they needed to do, but we still got some things to pick up on and clean up some. You know, every team has their problem, but this team is very good. They're very young, very talented. And, you know, they get better every week, David. And to score 41 against Karns Beavers, you know, this is not a terrible team by any means. They really fought hard, and they made some great plays, the Beavers did, throughout the night. But the Oak Ridge trimmed them up and and they're going to the house with a big regional win. Another one coming up next week over in the land of the Dragons.
Cherokees. We're playing McMinn County next week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh, no,
You're right.
don't look
McMinn
over the
County.
Cherokees.
No, don't overlook the Cherokees.
41-0 our final score. We're going to take a break. This is our post-game show getting ready to start. Alex Myers will have interviews down on the field. 41-0 the final. We'll take a break. We'll send it back to Brian Bennett. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Sounds good. Yes, I'm ready whenever you are, Mr. Wild Man. Thank you, buddy.
We got to watch out for Alex. See where he's at. Whenever he's ready. I think I see him.
Yeah, he's right there.
We're going to probably send it right to Alex.
Hey, David, you ever know how many yards the Jarvis had today?
Okay, welcome back to Karns High School. Here with Josh. Welcome back to Karns High School. We're going to send it down to the field and Alex Myers for interviews.
All right, first off, I'm going to start with Brandon Hayward. Thank you to Brandon for joining us here. Brandon, big game tonight. Offensively, I want to start pregame. Before the game even started, I heard you guys in a sort of a pregame huddle and warm-ups. You're one of the senior leaders on this team, and you basically made it, in not so many words, loud and clear that, hey, we're not going to take these guys lightly. We want to come here, put our foot on the gas, not let them stay in this game and not take these guys lightly. It looked like early on you guys were focused and ready to go. How important was that to you?
I mean, we played against them before. They done lost their best player for many years, and I know how we get. We start thinking that the team's lame, so we don't got to play our best, but that's wrong. I mean, if we come out here like we did today, we didn't play our best, but we still got the job done. But if we came out here worse than that, they would have got on the board, and they would have scored, and it would have been a closer game than it should have been.
Brandon Hayward here, senior wide receiver for the Wildcats. We know about your speed, your hands, your ability to make plays, but tonight it looked like you were being very intentional about being a physical player. You were stiff-arming. You kind of looked like the Jarvis out there, except you were doing that after you caught the ball. Is something going on? Were you trying to make a statement tonight? Because it kind of looked like it from up in the stands.
I mean, I didn't say it before the year. I said I was going to send a message. I mean, I'm doing that every single game, every 15 games. Today I came out, we came physical. I had a chip on my shoulder. Every time I caught the ball, I was running like I was a madman. I got the yards I got, and I got to see what the total was, but at the end of the day, I'm doing it every single game, and every team going to get the physicalness.
You got a lot of yards, and you didn't get in the end zone until the end, but finally you did, and nobody was going to catch you, and you weren't going to be denied that time. How good did that feel?
I mean, it was a relief. I should have been scored a long time ago on like 2 plays, but we got back to it. Coach didn't give up on me. He kept on me the ball, so I got in the end zone at about third quarter.
Next week, you guys travel to Minden County. Obviously, you'll celebrate this tonight, but how quickly and how important is it to refocus? Because that's going to be a tough game. I'm sure they remember. I know we remember how that game ended last year.
It's got to be a lock-in week. It's going to be a long road trip. You got to be mentally focused. The refs not going to be on our side. They're not going to be on our side, so you got to come out there and worried about just playing our responsibilities and doing what we can do on the field and handling business and move on to 4-0.
Brandon, I want you to stay right here just for 1 second, but thank you. Congratulations on another victory.
Thank you.
And I just want to keep you right here because, Brandon, I want you to help sing along. No, you're not really going to. I'm just messing with you. I want to wish Price Davis a happy birthday, though. Price, I know we call you Price. They call you Boosie. Whatever they call you a player tonight out here on the field. It was a great performance tonight. Defensively, we'll start there because we know how good you are, how consistent you are. Missed the first game. You were nicked up a little bit. How good does it feel to be back on here on the field with your brothers?
Man, it just feels great to be back out here with my brothers. Man, just glad to be back.
I talked about you and Izzy if you guys didn't have numbers, the body type, how you guys play, the position, you're almost like clones out there. It's kind of like the same player, and I say that as a compliment in the utmost way because you are so fearless. You hit so hard, you form tackle, and you're just, again, fearless is the word that comes to mind. How much enjoyment do you get out of just making big hits?
Man, it's just a blessing to be out here, man. God gave me the strength to do what I do. I just love it.
Now, tonight we saw you and really Izzy both, but we saw you get into the action a little bit more on the offensive side, stuff we've seen in previous years but maybe hadn't seen quite so much this year. Do you like playing offense a little bit more? How did that feel getting back out there and touching the ball?
It felt great. I missed it last year due to some issues we had on offense, but I'm glad to be back out there with my team and making plays.
Last question, as I asked Brandon a minute ago, you guys traveled back. You advanced in the playoffs on a blocked field goal attempt that would have won the game for McMinn County. It sent them home. It sent you guys to the next round of the playoffs. Huge game, will be talked about for years. You know that's in the back of their mind. How focused do you guys have to be, because it's going to be a tough one?
We just got to prepare, execute this week, and go in like we know how to play.
It doesn't say price. So before I let you go here, we got a crowd around you. Obviously, some people that are fans of yours. Brandon, let's all on three. Let's wish Price happy birthday. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Alex Myers. Great job with these on-field interviews. Up here with Josh Franklin. Josh, what's your thoughts on tonight's game?
Well, two things come to mind, and that's rushing and defense. DeJarvis ran all over the Karns Beavers tonight to a tune of 157 yards, which is absolutely insane. In fact, I don't think he even played most of the fourth quarter because he had run so much during the game. And then the defense, which has really been phenomenal all season, but they pitched a shutout today. And outside of that one run from Karns, they couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't pass. They couldn't run. It was just about perfect overall in this game.
Yeah, it was a very good game for the Wildcat. I was very impressed. I mean, this is a young team, too. There's a lot of sophomores on this team, and they are very talented, very impressive, great coaching. I think, the second half, Oak Ridge really came out with a vengeance, and they just shut Karns down. And then, the field goal, I thought, oh, well, we're going to give them 3 right here. No. Izzy Mitchell saw to the fact that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, that's called adding insult to injury right there, giving them a little bit of hope that it wouldn't be a shutout, and then going ahead and blocking that field goal to keep it a 0-score game. But overall, outside of a couple of interceptions, if Oak Ridge can clean up those interceptions and get that chemistry really rocking and rolling between the quarterback and the receivers, between that and the defense, this team could be quite unstoppable and a force later on down in the season.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season, no doubt about it. We're going to see how it plays out, but I really like what I see with this team. Good chemistry, good coaching, great bunch of kids, and talented. I mean, I'm impressed with this team. I really am, Josh.
Absolutely. They seem to be more like a brotherhood with this team. They're young, but they're just like brothers. They're playing for each other on the field, and they're not giving up really anything. But the biggest thing with a game like this is they're taking the will of the other team away to play, and once you do that, it's all downhill from there, Mike.
Exactly right, Josh. Great comment. We're going to take a quick 3-minute timeout. When we come back, Mark Hayes and his wife Shauna are going to have the statistics for tonight's game.
So technically, we just did what he said.
Now a accepting new patients, so call today for your appointment. A caring professional with your smile in mind. Dr. Bill Linehan, 482-1731.
You've worked hard to build your business, and we want to help you protect it. The team at Fox Insurance Group believes your business deserves the expertise of a local insurance agent. With business insurance from Todd Fox at Fox Insurance Group and Encova Insurance, you can make sure your business stays up and running no matter what happens. If you own a business, make sure it's fully protected by contacting Fox Insurance Group. Visit www.grayfoxins.com or call 865-482-0513.
Natural gas is affordable, reliable, and
Okay, we're back now. Alex Myers is going to do an on-field interview with Coach Derek Ring momentarily as soon as he rounds him up. And he's giving me the thumbs up. It's all his.
Thank you very much, Mike. As we go over to Coach Ring, I do want to say thank you to Mike and Josh for helping us out there. And as we get set to go here again, I think the final score was 41-0 in favor of the Wildcats. Oak Ridge moves to 3-0 on the season. Another win. I think Oak Ridge, David, if you told me correctly, hasn't lost to Karns since 1985. Pretty incredible. That streak lives on. Coach, I know you're a busy man, and I apologize. No, you're fine. I apologize. A minute or two late getting to you. So we'll try to make it quick here. Another big win today. I know that listening to you after the game, not quite as sharp as you'd like to be, but still, anytime you come out here and win on a Friday night, it's got to mean a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I take a lot of responsibility. We, sometimes when you're calling plays, you may want to do some stuff that may not be in the most advantageous for the team. And, obviously felt like that, we just made some bad play calls in there and we're never able to find a rhythm. I guess we moved the ball well, but then got in the red area and kind of bogged down a little bit. And I'll take responsibility for that first and foremost. And I apologize to the players, and we'll get better at that throughout the season. But, obviously I think this game it was pretty evident. We had a lot of different pieces we could go to. Defense played phenomenal. Anytime you get a shutout in high school football, to me it's a big deal with the way modern offenses are. So proud of the defense for a shutout offense. Ended up putting 41 on the board. Had a lot of yards. Just want to obviously, work on the turnovers.
Yeah, no doubt. But like you said, a shutout. We were talking, kind of rooting for it. About halftime, we started going, hey, I think we could maybe get a shutout on these guys. And not the most explosive offense you guys will play, but like you said, with some of the penalties, some of the mistakes that happened, you guys bowed your neck again. And it wasn't just the starting 11 that did that. As you continue to get substitutions in the ball game, they continued that to do what we've seen the defense do all year, which is bow their necks when it counts and eliminate the chances to score points.
Yeah, I mean, obviously defense bowed up, and you got a lot of guys that are flying around. I think defensively we're playing fast, physical. I think, when you're at a high school like Oak Ridge that has a good football tradition, we have a lot of, I guess we say the word twitchy athletes out there that can run, can hit. Obviously, they don't mind the physicality of it, and we're just a hard team to move the ball against. So defense bowed up a lot tonight, obviously, and just proud of Coach Hawkins and the defensive staff and then their performance as far as coaching the kids up.
Yeah, and I'll kind of end it on this. First off, congratulations, a region victory. It's never easy, no matter what the score may say or the papers may say. It's always going to be a hardly contested game. So congratulations on that. As we move forward and shift to next week, that focus in your mind probably, I know you a little bit, probably already starting to switch there. That's going to be a tough game. They've always got good athletes. In a word, it's chippy, if I want to say it nicely. It gets chippy at McMinn County, specifically when you play down there. After what happened last year, I know you're aware of what happened and how Oak Ridge ended their season in the playoffs. You got to expect that that's going to be a really tough environment and a really tough matchup.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I think you're right. Hit the nail on the head. McMinn County traditionally plays with an edge that, is kind of chippy. They're tough, hard-nosed, physical. So they've always been that way. They've always been good on defense because their guys are going to run, tackle, hit. They're just going to play with that edge, that physicality that I think in their mind they view that a positive.
As a team. Receiving, or through the air, we had 301 yards on 17 receptions for a total offense tonight of 501 yards. Wildcats earned 19 first downs in the ball games. They were penalized 8 times for 77 yards. Now looking at Karns, they were led on the ground by Jason Bourne. He had 18 carries for 72 yards. His long was 45 yards. Levi Williams, 23 yards on 5 carries. Deshaun Huckleby, he had 6 carries for 21 yards. Jay Alsop, 8 yards on 2 receptions. Alex Idle had a 2-yard carry. And Carson Paul had a 2-yard carry. So as a team, the Karns Beavers, they rushed the ball 33 times, gaining 128 yards on the ground. Through the air, Carson Paul, he was 11 of 18 for 85 yards. He had an interception on the night. Ben Stiles came in late for the Beavers. He was 2 of 3 for 7 yards. So as a team, the Karns Beavers were 13 of 21 for 92 yards, and with 1 interception. Receiving for the Beavers, they were led by Walker Lockhart. He had 54 yards on 3 receptions. Austin Fan, he had a 10-yard reception. Will Taylor had a 7-yard reception. 7 yards on 2 receptions. Jay Alsop had a 7-yard reception. Gavin Duke had 6 yards on 2 receptions. Matthew Eldridge, a 6-yard reception. Deshaun Huckleby had 2 yards on 2 receptions. And Jason Bourne had a reception, but no yards. So, as a team, Karns had 128 yards on the ground. They had 92 yards through the air for a total offense of 220 yards. They had 11 first downs, 5 penalties for 25 yards. David or Alex?
Thank you so much, Mark. For Shauna and Mark Haste, for Mike the Wildman Sheehan, for Josh Frazier, Alex Waraxa, Lee Wexler, and everyone else who helped make this possible tonight, the broadcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks to our sponsor. Dave, it's great to have you back in the saddle tonight. Great Oak Ridge win, 41-0. They move on to 3-0. David Clary, I'll let you sign out.
41-0, the final score. Next week's ball game at McMinn County. Until then, this is David Clary saying, so long, everybody.